Braves back home at Bourne Park for another contest with the Falmouth Commodores. It's Game 3 between the Braves and the Commodores this season. Welcome to a Before the Bravos. Back here at Bourne Park, Calvin Cristoforo. Alongside me, as always, is Nick Galley. Coming off a late night last night.
It's a real late one.
Those 7 o'clock games in Orleans, they're nice. You get lights for most of the game, and you don't have to rush, going over there. Mm-hmm. But that ride back and then all the post-game production stuff we have to do.
Well, our Wendy's run did not help either. I think we should mention that.
We had to, we had to get a bite to stop. We had to stop to get a bite to eat, as you know.
The entire Cape was at that drive-thru, though. I swear.
I was talking to Connor and Daniel, our baseball ops interns. They went through that line as
well.
Theo
was there, too.
Theo was there with them. So
our MLB scout liaison.
A couple of us tried to go to Wendy's. It kind of fell flat on our face, and it was a long line that we really didn't need to go through, but we did it anyway, and we stuck it out to get some mediocre fast food.
Yeah, of course.
That's where we were last night.
The American dream.
The Braves on the field last night, they finished in a 2-2 tie against the Firebirds. A game where the offense, once again, scattered 9 hits, but only were able to get 2 runs across home plate, and those both came on one swing. A 2-run RBI triple by Zach Agnos, who continues to hit very well the opposite field. But the offense now, 18 hits in their last 18 innings. If you're doing math at home, that's 1 per inning. And only 2.
Wow,
only 2 runs scored. If you're doing math, that's only 1 per game. Those 2 numbers don't really add up.
All right, Einstein.
Those 2 numbers, I'm just saying because they don't really add up. The Braves have one of the highest batting averages in the Cape, but still are struggling to score runs.
Yeah, it's just what I've noticed over the past couple games. It's been this is what it seems like anyway. They get the leadoff guy each inning on base, whether that be a walk or hit batsman even. Yep. I believe Fedko got hit to lead off the game last night.
It didn't move from first base.
Did not move. And then you just see the offense just kind of get stifled throughout the rest of the inning or the rest of the game, really. And it's been tough. You can't leave guys on base like that. They have not been able to get anything going. They haven't been able to string things together, and you got to do that, especially for a team that doesn't live and die by the home run ball.
Yeah, the same thing happened in the 9th inning. Joe Lampe, pinch hitter to lead off the top of the 9th. A perfectly placed push bunt. Gets on first base. 3 pitches later, gets picked off of first base. The Braves end up going. The next 2 guys get out for the Braves. They ended up tying it. The game was tied at the time, so Eric Gavlik came out of the pen and really shut it down for the Braves to get a tie out of that. Their 3rd tie of the season. Now another night where they get points, but not 2. They just get the 1, which the Braves will take, obviously. Obviously, they're up to 21 points now. That's a 4.5 game lead. The next closest has 12. That's one of the Falmouth Commodores teams. So here's how the standings break down right now in the Cape Cod League West. It's the Braves first place with 21 points, which is a huge lead right now, 13 games into the season. And then Katuitt, Wareham, and Falmouth all have 12. A 9-point lead, and then Hyannis down at the bottom. It was 2-10 right now, coming off a 9-32 season. They have really had their struggles, just 4 points. But that's how the Cape Cod League West shakes out right now. So the Braves get another tie, and at this point, you're almost so far into the season where you're 8 games above 500. You average a point a night, you're going to be sitting pretty. Absolutely.
You're good. I mean, as long as this team continues, the only thing this team cannot do, which I'm kind of afraid they might do, is go into a losing skid. Because, one, the offense...
Why are you afraid that might happen?
The offense hasn't been there. You're coming off a tie and a loss. 1 loss after a long win streak can throw you out of whack a little bit. I think the pitching staff responded fine last night. They looked fantastic. They've been great all year. Usually we only see 2 to 3 runs at most from that pitching staff. But the offense right now is struggling a bit, and it's not going back to the loss or even the tie yesterday. Even in Wareham, the offense wasn't really there. It took to, the 5th or 6th to score?
Yep.
5th or 6th to score. 4 runs you put up against a Wareham team that's decent, middle-of-the-pack team. So the offense has been slowing down quite a bit, and we know about the struggles at home. Just a couple nights ago, I know this team was hitting 240 at home. I'm not sure what they're hitting now after their game here the other night. But, it's something to keep an eye on. This team, I don't think they're worried about going into a losing skid, but one thing can lead to another, and, it could happen.
I'm much less concerned, Nick, and I'll tell you why. I talked about it earlier. 9 hits. It's not like this team is getting 3 hits a night.
Yeah.
It's not like they're getting 4 hits a night. The hits are there, which means every single night they are a knock away from a big inning. They
but
are one
I'll
hit away.
say this, too. I don't think this pitching is sustainable for an entire season.
That could be fair, right? The MLB draft's coming up. Nick Swack's already gone. Gordon Graceffo's already gone. Peter Van Loon's already gone. The Braves getting some guys in. Cade Smith, one of them from Mississippi State, not activated yet, but he should be here the next couple of days. So they're getting some replacements, but other teams are losing guys too. The Braves, this lineup is only going to lose maybe one guy, right? It's going to be. This is the Braves lineup you're seeing today is going to be the Braves lineup in Game 40 of the season, minus probably one or two guys.
Yeah.
And that is going to be very good compared to other teams. Because you look at teams, they're going to lose their starting lineup. So I think not only are the Braves getting hits, and so they're a hit away, which is the advantage Braves, they are also keeping their lineup together, which is going to make it consistent, which is going to be an advantage Braves.
No doubt about it. I mean, I think this team is in good spirits. They have good chemistry. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, I think. Chemistry is a huge thing. And it's all about just kind of consistency. And the Braves will have that consistency for the majority of this season.
And who else have they been consistent against?
The
Falmouth Commodores. They have.
That was nice. We timed that up really well. We did not plan that, so.
That was very good.
Yeah.
I appreciate your effort there.
You're welcome.
But this Falmouth team, they have dominated 19 runs on 28 hits. I've said that stat I don't know how many times. Those are the two matchups this season. They're both down there at the Gov in Falmouth. Here at Bourne Park, the Braves, we talked about, we've said it, I don't know how many shows in a row now, they've struggled to hit at home. So hopefully they can bring those success against this Falmouth team that they had down in Falmouth here to Bourne Park and maybe put crooked numbers on the scoreboard and how about this, multiple innings in a row.
That would be the dream, and I think there's no better team to do it against than a team you've had offensive success against in the past. You got to bring that success home now, though. So we know the Bourne Braves hit very well in Falmouth. Will they hit well against Falmouth in Bourne? That's what we're going to find out tonight.
Well, that's the big question. The thing that remains with me, though, is the Braves are strong where Falmouth is weak.
Yes.
Pitching. Braves hitting is, it's not there, but this Falmouth pitching staff might be worse than the Braves hitting staff. So that's advantage Braves.
I think so.
And the Braves pitching staff has been flat out dominant. We're getting another start from Jordan Patty tonight, who we'll talk about in just a second. Going against a Falmouth lineup it's been very good. It's been actually they've also been better on the road hitting-wise. So they've been very good, but Jordan Patty gives me no cause for concern tonight. What'd you like from him in his first start against Chatham, and what do you think he can do tonight to kind of keep it rolling? The Braves pitching staff, they haven't missed a beat.
What I like from Jordan Patty is just the accuracy that I've seen from him and just his ability to kind of control things when a lot of factors are kind of going every which way. He had that performance in Katuitt that didn't count.
Yep.
He got roughed up there.
Throw that out. That's gone.
It's gone, but it still happens. And, as a pitcher, that might take a little bit of confidence away from you.
It didn't. It didn't show that last time out,
Exactly.
though.
That's what I'm saying. He came right back out in his start, and he looked fantastic. Like it never even happened. Statistically, it never did, but mentally, a lot of times that can get to a guy. Well, there's no doubt about it.
It seems like it didn't his last time out. So
I know that.
Hopefully he can continue that trend tonight. Let's get into the lineup that's hitting behind him, as we always do. Joe Lampe, I mentioned his pinch hit opportunity last night. He was not in the starting lineup, obviously, but he's back out there in center field tonight, batting the leadoff spot.
Yeah, Joe Lampe, nice to have him back in the lineup tonight. I know he had the pinch hit appearance last night, had that great drag bunt, and he had an unbelievable effort over at first in order to be safe. Yep. Slid head first into the bag. It was a huge play at the time. Obviously, did end up getting picked off, unfortunately, but that's the kind of plays you get from Joe Lampe.
Yeah, he's a guy who plays with a ton of energy, obviously a great defensive center fielder, so hopefully his hitting and his glove are both on display tonight because that's the perfect combo you can get with a guy like Joe Lampe. Hitting behind him is probably the most frustrated hitter maybe in the Cape Cod League, and that's Kyler Fedko. He's batting second in right field. You ask him, he thought he had 2 home runs last night.
He should have 3 home runs past 2 games.
You ask the scoreboard, he had 0 home runs last night. The wind blowing in at Orleans. One of them was robbed running the warning track. One of them had another chance to go out, but the wind blew it back in the field of play. No home runs for Kyler Fedko. Can he get it rolling tonight?
I think so. I mean, I talked with him before the game today in BP, and I was like, man, we all saw it. We all thought it was gone the first time. We were like, my goodness, it just, you got robbed. Second time he came up, obviously the wind blowing in. We thought you had it again. We figured, look at Kyler Fedko. He went out and he got revenge. And then the wind said, no, you didn't, Kyler Fedko. And then 2 nights ago, he had the bomb out here to left center. We thought that was gone.
Yep.
And it was.
He thought it was gone.
He thought it was gone, too. So I remember last night after the second one, he was running in the dugout saying, I love this game. I love this game. It's kind of a sarcastic remark because obviously the game had kind of robbed him of 2 home runs, but that's baseball. You can hit a ball 110 miles per hour, get no hit, and you can hit it 4 miles per hour and get a little bloop single. So Kyler
4
Fedko,
miles an hour is a little.
that's way too slow.
Okay.
Maybe like 50. There you go.
There you go. Yep.
50 miles per hour. I was going for emphasis.
Okay. All right.
And you just shot it right down. But
Yeah, I'm
anyway,
just trying to be realistic.
It's fine. But yeah, his swing has still looked really good. So I think if he just keeps swinging the bat like he is, the hits will come.
Well, I hope so too. And Coach Harvey Shapiro obviously putting a lot of faith in him,
Yes.
keeping him in the lineup night in and night out. Back in right field, batting second. Behind him is Max Anderson, who has burst on the scene and been nothing but an absolute stud for this team. Whether he's DHing, playing third base, he hits the balls on the screws, it seems like, every single at-bat.
He's great. I mean, this kid can hit.
Rakes.
He barrels up a lot of balls. He rakes.
Yeah.
Barrels up a lot of balls, and I was talking with Theo, our scout liaison,
Yep.
and he said that's what he does. The kid just barrels everything, and we've seen that here in Bourne.
Yeah, great friend of the program, Theo. He's always been around us.
Shout out.
Shout out Theo. He's going to be very happy because his guy is pitching tonight, Jordan Patty.
Yeah.
He goes to Central Michigan. Jordan Patty, a Central Michigan guy. Dalton Rushing, he's back at the designated hitter spot. Actually, yeah, he is DHing tonight. He's batting fourth.
Mhm.
The left-handed hitting batter, another guy who just seems to be hitting the ball so hard right now.
I want to see a home run from him tonight because he is hitting.
He's got 2.
He has 2, but I want to see another one. Why not
Okay,
have 3?
You're being a little greedy, but
No, I'm not being greedy.
he was another guy who was robbed of a couple of hits. We
Yeah.
talked about Kyler Fedko's unluckiness, but Dalton Rushing had a couple of knocks
Oh yeah.
the other night when we were back here in the loss to Katuitt that were robbed, and he keep hitting the ball hard because that's got to be the mindset.
They'll lead to hits. They'll lead to hits.
Absolutely. What comes around goes around. So a hard hit ball here, maybe it gets nabbed, but the next time it'll be a knock.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's the thing. It's frustrating when you get a hit robbed like that, but you just have to keep the same swing, keep the same mentality, and they will come eventually. You're not going to get robbed every single time. So
He's hitting 4th tonight. Batting 5th right behind him is the big man, Braylon Wimmer, who's quietly been having a great last couple of games.
yeah, I mean, what did he have last night? A couple hits?
At least a couple knocks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I know the night before he had 3.
Yep.
So 2 multi-hit performances back to back. You can't complain with that. I mean, come on now. Like that's peak performance right there. So Braylon Wimmer has been fantastic after slowing down after his extremely hot start. So this is a guy you love to see that because you're going to slow down in baseball. You're not going to hit 500 the entire year. You're not going to hit a home run every game. When you do go down a little bit, when you slow down a little bit, you have to bounce back. Braylon Wimmer's bounced back.
You think he's bouncing back again tonight? You think he's keeping it rolling?
I don't know. Maybe you'll see around my pick to pop.
Okay,
I
all right,
guess.
keeping a little secretive. Another guy who's been red hot has been Colton Bender, and not only is he doing it with the bat, he made an excellent play on a bunt here the other night. So Colton Bender signed his permanent contract today. Got to be very happy about that. He's going to be with the Braves for the remainder of the summer, which is a great thing the way he's been playing. Can he keep it rolling tonight?
I think he can. I mean, he's coming in with that extra boost of confidence now after signing a permanent contract. He signed one along with Peter Burns. They're going to be the 2 catchers for the remainder of the season. That was announced this morning. So this is a guy with some confidence at the plate and just mentally now from signing a permanent contract. So I think we're going to see something special tonight from Colton Bender.
He's hitting 6 tonight, and the guys hitting 7 and 8 behind him have been the 2 guys, amongst others, who have struggled, really struggled. Colby Thomas playing in left field tonight. He's hitting 7th. Josh Moylan behind him back at first base. He's hitting 8th. Those are 2 guys. We know it's there. We know the potential's there. It's just how do they execute now in the Cape Cod League?
I'll tell you what Colby Thomas needs to do, and
Tell
I'll
me.
tell you what Moylan needs to do. Colby Thomas needs to see a ball low tonight. He needs to stop swinging at high stuff because he's been popping a lot of balls up, been hitting a lot of high fly balls. So if I'm Colby Thomas tonight, I'm looking for a pitch middle in and the lower end of the plate. Looking a little bit south tonight. I'm trying to drive the ball, get a nice hard hit ground ball or a line drive. You don't even need to get a hit out of it, all right? Obviously, you'd love a hit out of it. Please get a hit out of it. I mean, go get a hit out of it.
Make him your mind. Do you want me to hit of it or no?
Get a hit out of it.
Okay.
But if you don't, as long as it's a hard hit ground ball, line drive, that's what you want to see. Stop popping balls up. That's one thing. I mean, those are easy outs. At least you put a ground ball in play. You're making players work on the other side of the field. So Colby Thomas, see low tonight, think low tonight, hit low, and drive that ball.
And you watch Colby Thomas take batting practice as we do every day, and he hits the ball the hardest on the team.
Great swing.
And it's a beautiful swing. It's just can he translate to the game? He hasn't so far, but I think we both believe at some point it's coming.
Has to be.
Josh Moylan, who he is in a major slump right now, batting average down below 100.
Yeah.
He's trying to put together at-bats, but sometimes he's getting too deep in counts where he takes the third pitch for a strike. What can he do to get back into the rhythm?
Honestly, just make a contribution. I mean, they're just like I said it last time, I think. Take a walk. Get a sacrifice fly, even sack bunt maybe. Just something to kind of get the train rolling a little bit, because right now it's been nothing really for Josh Moylan, and he's a good player. He wouldn't be on the Cape if he wasn't a good player. I think he just needs something to go his way. I think the defensive mishaps, too, doesn't help either with your confidence. So he just needs something to go his way. Even make a great defensive play. Just make a contribution to this game, whether it be big or small, and that's going to get your confidence a little bit up, and then he can start to get in his groove that we saw at ECU.
Confidence is a major factor in this game, especially when, you got a new bat, you're facing top competition, so confidence is a thing that Josh Moylan doesn't have right now, but he's going to look to pick up going forward. Tanner Schobel rounds out this Braves lineup. He's hitting ninth.
I've liked what I've seen from him at the bottom of the order. He's a scrappy guy in that 9-hole. He can produce some nights he doesn't. That's really every guy who's ever played baseball ever. But if you can get production from Tanner Schobel in the bottom of the order, it makes this offense so much better. Can you get it on a consistent basis? That is the question. We're going to see if Schobel can kind of build off a past few games that have been pretty good.
No Christian Knapczyk in the lineup tonight. He's been dealing with a little bit of an illness. We expect him to be back in the lineup in the next couple of days. Hopefully the off day tomorrow will help him out. He'll be back in the lineup.
Said he was feeling better
on Friday.
today.
So the off day tomorrow, possibly an off day on Friday if you're looking ahead of the weather, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Give me your pick to pop for tonight, Nick. You know it's coming.
Yeah.
So don't give me this whole...
I know. I'm going to go Lampy. tonight.
Okay. You think Lampy...
I think so.
The couple of days off is going to light a fire.
And I liked how he looked last night in that at-bat. He was playing with some fire. So I'm going with Lampy.
You know what? I'm going to risk it tonight. I'm rolling the dice. I'm going Colby Thomas tonight.
Okay. All right.
I loved his swing in BP. I just think, I keep picking Colby Thomas. It's going to happen eventually because
it has to.
He's going to get hot. He is.
You could just keep picking him,
so
and at some point, it'll cash in.
I'm going Colby Thomas tonight. What's our year-to-date standings? 3-2, Nick, right?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, 3-2, Nick. I got to take.
Trying to even it up.
I'm down. I got to take a risk. I'm going Colby Thomas tonight. We'll see how it plays out here at Doran Park. But quickly before we go, give me one key for the Braves to win tonight.
Score in the first inning. And
okay.
I mean, that's the key. You got to strike early tonight because this team has either been waiting way too long to score, or they just don't score at all. So, score first inning night. First inning runs.
National anthem coming here at Doran Park before Reeves and Daniel have the call for the Braves and the Falmouth Commodores. Enjoy the game, everybody. Tom Harden, Snack Shack here.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Bourne Braves sit at 9-1-3 after escaping with a 2-2 tie against the Orleans Firebirds of the Eastern Division at Eldridge Park, a little ways up in the Cape. We're back here at Doran Park, where we are going to face the Falmouth Commodores for the third time, and the first time that they're going to be traveling here to Doran Park. My name is Daniel Coates. Alongside me, Reeves Jackson. Another perfect day for baseball, Cape Cod League baseball. We have a decent crowd here, and again, an opportunity to keep this winning streak going, keep the production up. What do we have to do today, Reeves, and what can we be expecting to see?
Got to be hitting with runners in scoring position, to put it quite frank. Obviously, the Braves with 18 hits combined in their past 2 games, 9 hits in each of those contests, but only 2 runs to show for it. 2 runs on 18 hits in the past 2 games. We got to be better with hitting with runners in scoring position. I mean, this is a team that's left a lot of runners on third with less than 2 outs over the course of the past 5 to 6 games, but no better opponent to do it against than the Falmouth Commodores, a team that they have scored 19 runs against in 2 games at Gov Fuller Field. Looking to get the bats hot at home, where the bats are hitting roughly 240, a hair over 240 at home.
Yeah, 19 runs against this Falmouth Commodores team. Something that we've been looking for is a bit more production offensively in the batter's box. This is just the team that we need to do it against. The Falmouth Commodores have let up 19 runs to this Bourne Braves team that is 9-1-3. That winning streak was cut down by the Cotuit Kettleers in our last appearance at home, protecting home turf at Doran Park. We're going to get things going with the one spot hitter for the Cotuit Kettleers, the Falmouth Commodores. That is Luke Boyers.
And Jordan Patty on the mound, Central Michigan right-hander Daniel, making his 2nd start tonight.
A weak fly ball to left field. Colby Thomas underneath it. Quickly, 1 out. Luke Boyers flies out to left field.
That's how you do it right there. 1 pitch, 1 out. Good start tonight for Jordan Patty, who made that start against the Chatham Anglers when the Braves picked up their first tie of the season. And in that game, Patty was great. He was establishing first pitch strikes all night long. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. Did not allow a walk. He struck out 6. So when you're getting ahead of batters with first pitch strikes, you're going to find yourself ahead in the count a lot of the times. That leads to strikeouts when you're as effective as Patty is. He had 6 of them here.
A 1 pitch, 1 out. Second pitch catches the outside corner for strike 1. This is Braden Taylor. He'll be seen at third base, out in the field for the Falmouth Commodores.
Yeah, Braden Taylor, the team's 2nd leading hitter, 17 for 52, is the most at-bats on this Falmouth Commodores team coming into action today.
0-2 early on to Braden Taylor. And Patty just really finding his groove early on. Just 3 pitches, 1 out, and an 0-2 count to the 2-spot hitter.
So the guy that's seen the most pitches of anybody, he's also walked 8 times, struck out 10 times, but pretty good when you have 52 at-bats. Braden Taylor has been one of the more effective hitters, along with Jason Borfin, who is on deck. The Braves line it up defensively, Daniel. Thomas, Lampy, Fedko left to right. Third to first is Anderson, Schobel, Wimmer, and Moylan. And the battery combination of Jordan Patty and Colton Bender back behind the plate after we saw Peter Burns last night at Orleans.
1-2 swung on and missed. Braden Taylor is responsible for the 2nd out, and Jordan Patty from Central Michigan looking clean out there on the mound in the top of the 1st.
He's just throwing strikes, and that's what I talked about in our pregame Tomahawk Talk. Obviously, a first pitch strike to Luke Boyers, and he flied out to Colby Thomas on 1 pitch. So looking to make it 3 up and 3 down for a pitching staff that has been so impressive.
Weak ground ball right there is Joshua Moylan. He calls off Jordan Patty and ends the top of the 1st. 1, 2, 3 down for the Falmouth Commodores, and the Braves, who are trying to leave less men on base today, will go to the bottom of the 1st with their first offensive opportunity.
The center fielder from Arizona State University, number 4, Joe Lampy.
Trey McLaughlin will be the pitcher. That will start the bottom of the first for the Falmouth Commodores in black and on the road for the first time here at Bourne Park. From Fairfield, Trey McLaughlin will start things off to Joe Lampy at the top of the order.
Yeah, well, we have one of our own Stags from Fairfield, Michael Sansone in our bullpen. But on the mound, you mentioned Trey McLaughlin. And in his only start of the season, June 29th, at Chatham was outstanding. 5 innings of shutout baseball. Only allowed 4 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 4. And looking to replicate that success, a 6'2", 205-pound right-hander who just enjoyed his 22nd birthday.
1-1 flare into shallow left, caught by the shortstop Colden for out number 1, and Joe Lampy back at the top of the order. Kyler Fedko dropping down 1 spot to the 2 position. He was at the 1 spot yesterday at Eldridge Park in Orleans.
Yeah, we were told that Christian Knapczyk, if you're wondering why he's not back in the lineup tonight, I'll run down the lineup for you in just a minute. But Christian Knapczyk not featured in the lineup tonight again. We were told he was dealing with a little bit of a strep throat case. So he was in BP today. He said he's gotten over the sickness, but was still a little weak overall from the sickness. And we're hoping to be back in the lineup on Friday after the day off tomorrow.
First pitch flare, foul. Out of play on the right side of the field here.
Yeah, the lineup after Lampy goes Kyler Fedko in right, Max Anderson at third, Dalton Rushing fourth, the designated hitter. Fifth is Wimmer at second, sixth, Colton Bender. The catcher, seventh, Colby Thomason left tonight instead of Caden Wallace. Thomas bats seventh and left. Batting eighth back at first tonight, Joshua Moylan. Batting ninth, the shortstop who has been as sure-handed as they come the past few games. His third consecutive start in Tanner Schobel.
0-1, another foul ball, but might be playable for Armstrong at first. Sliding, he can't get to it in foul territory down the right field line. 2 pitches and 2 foul balls from Kyler Fedko.
Yeah, our camera doesn't extend all the way down that right field foul line, but it was Armstrong who was right near the fence. Literally slid his cleat at the fence, and the ball bounced just in front of his glove and ricocheted over the fence. Almost had a play on that. Almost made an outstanding sledding catch for out number 2. But I think we know the name of the game, Daniel. It's got to get. We're getting the runners on. But you got to get the runners in.
0-2. Fastball misses upstairs, and poor Kyler Fedko. I mean, talk about getting robbed. In the top of the 7th, he was taken away. A home run was taken away from him by McKenzie in left field for the Firebirds. Swing and a miss off a breaking ball, out number 2. Kyler Fedko goes down swinging. But in the 9th inning, he hit an absolute shot to left in the same position he hit one in the 7th inning, and that also was stolen away from him by McKenzie. So 2 opportunities for home runs were just robbed.
And a third one of the guy stepping up to the plate. And what I thought outside of Fedko's home run that was robbed, I thought Anderson's ball had more of a chance to get out than Fedko's did in that 9th inning.
That pop-up right underneath Armstrong, calling everyone off and ending the bottom of the first. 1-2-3 for both sides, and a defensive stand. That will send things to the top of the second. My name is Daniel Coates. Alongside me, Reeves Jackson. A quick first inning here in Bourne, Massachusetts sends it to the second inning. Jordan Patty on the mound for the second inning, the Central Michigan Chippewa, and this is a big game for him after the departures now of Gordon Graceffo, Nick Zawak, and Peter Van Loon, who are all looking for the upcoming MLB draft for their opportunity at professional baseball. But Jordan Patty has an opportunity now to cement himself at the top of this rotation as a starting pitcher alongside his CMU teammate Andrew Taylor.
Yeah, Patty, who obviously trying to continue to get a few more starts. Someone who's also draft eligible, but Patty's still unsure of what he wants to do as far as the upcoming draft. We have his parents in attendance today. We know Andrew Taylor will be here all summer as he is not draft eligible, but Patty, a guy that's draft eligible, but kind of on the fringe of whether he wants to return to college or continue pitching with Bourne this summer.
High fly ball towards foul territory. Right underneath it is Fedko. And that will end Curiali's at bat for the first time tonight. Curiali, one of the best batters, not just on the Commodores, but overall in the Cape League. And Jordan Patty making that one look easy.
Yeah, but I meant to say, if it's Patty as far as staying at Bourne and returning to college or going to the MLB draft. So Patty's got a big decision. This could potentially be his last start. We don't know that yet. He is one of the more wild cards. There are a few other guys we know, Daniel, that are more for sure gone. Obviously, he's whacking Graceffo, Peter Van Loon, but Patty on that fringe. But obviously, we selfishly hope he stays in Bourne to help this team pursue a Cape Cod League championship. But whatever the future calls for him, it's in the hands of his decision and his family's decision, and he's definitely earned himself a spot on a major league team in the draft if he does pursue that route.
Well, he's pitching great thus far. 1 out with a 1-1 count. Make that 1-2 after Armstrong passes on the third pitch. Top of the second, a quick 1 out. First inning, I should say, with 1 out. We're now in the top of the second. Christopher Armstrong at the plate. Line drive to right field. Fedko can't handle it. It goes onto the fence. One hop, and Christopher Armstrong will take over second with a 1-out double.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting by Armstrong there. Don't think Fedko was going to have a chance. I thought Fedko thought it was going to ricochet right off the wall. Ended up taking a hop right on the edge of that grass where it meets the warning track and just hit up against the wall. But Fedko strung through it. Nothing he could have done about that. So nice piece of hitting there by Armstrong. Just turned on a 1-2 fastball. I'm sure if Patty had that back, he wouldn't have gave him as good of a pitch to hit as Ducard steps in. But this is a Falmouth team that leads the league in runs scored with 81. They scored 14 in their 12-run, 14-2 win over the Brewster Whitecaps, a team that has been shutting down offenses. So we know Falmouth can hit. The only question for them this entire season has been their pitching staff, a team that also issues a lot of runs as we take a look at that. But a team that scored 81, they can hit the baseball, and we know that is. How about that, Daniel? That helicopter you see off in the distance.
If you can look at the tree line towards right field. Impressive stuff here. 0-1. 1-1 now to Ducart after fastball misses downstairs from Oregon State.
So the thing is, their pitching staff, they've scored 81 runs offensively. They've allowed 69. That's second most in the league of their pitching staff. You compare that to the Bourne Braves. Oh, my goodness. They've allowed, it's almost laughable. It's this crazy. They've allowed 29 runs on the season.
Unbelievable.
The next least is Wareham with 49. They've allowed 20 less runs than the team that's allowed the second least in the Cape League. You look at Katuitt, they've allowed 70. That's a 41 run differential as far as what Katuitt's allowed as a pitching staff compared to what Bourne has allowed. That's unbelievable.
Impressive stuff, and it correlates over to that 9-1-3 impressive record to start things off here in the 2021 campaign for the Bourne Braves. A 1-2 count for Jordan Patty. Fouled off, 1-2, it stays. This is to Jake Ducart, the Oregon State Beaver. He actually, believe this, he was the backup quarterback in the 2018 season for the Oregon State Beavers. Of course, opted to stick with that high-end Oregon State program, and he has traveled all the way to the Cape for the Falmouth Commodores. Swing and a miss for out number 2. Ducart chases the high cheddar. Jonathan French, the catcher for the Commodores, will face Patty with 2 outs in the top of the second.
Well, if he was the backup quarterback, why is he DHing today? Gotta test that arm to use somewhere, right? I want to say the last time we played, he was at third. I believe so. I'm gonna check gotta go back in the scorebook a few days here.
I think I remember that as well, Reeves.
He was at third. So there you go. The longest throw across the diamond makes sense.
And of course, that last trip to Gov Fuller resulted in a 6-3 victory for the Braves. Breaking ball outside, 1-0. Up to the plate is Jonathan French, the catcher for the Commodores. He has a man in scoring position. He's the first base runner, Armstrong, the entire game. 1-1 knotted up now. Jonathan French from Clemson. You can actually tell when he's behind the plate with that orange and purple gear.
Oh, yeah. Very recognizable.
Very recognizable. 1-1. Swing and a miss off an off-speed pitch.
Saw a couple of Clemson Tiger pitchers when we faced the Wareham Gatemen and Clayton and then Jeffrey Gilbert. So it's interesting to see all the colleges out here represented, especially when they go up against each other. Obviously, that is quite fun to see. Had 2 Sun Devils go off against each other last night, and Joe Lampy. And
another high fastball catches a Commodore swinging. Jonathan French is responsible for out number 3, and Jordan Patty lets a Commodore get in scoring position, but he bounces back and strikes out the final batter for the Commodores. To the bottom of the second we go, scoreless at Dorn Park. Trey McLaughlin makes his second inning appearance. The Stag at Fairfield for 2021 had 5 appearances. All of them starts with a 2-0 record. Get this, Reeves, 32 strikeouts on 4 walks throughout the entire season, a .247 opponent average. So the Braves might not be getting any freebies today.
Yeah, he doesn't walk many people. He throws strikes, gets ahead in the zone, but what those stats and an opponent's average of nearly 250. What that does say is the Braves can get to him as far as the bats are concerned, but they're going to see a lot of strikes, which, you know what, that serves the Braves well. They're a very disciplined team, but a team that's looking to get the bats going again at home, especially against the Falmouth team in which they've owned offensively, I think that's the perfect recipe. You don't want a guy that's going to be walking you and be effectively wild, per se. You want a guy that's going to be filling up the strike zone and a guy that can be hittable. And I think that's the guy in McLaughlin, who was really good, don't get me wrong, in his first start especially. He's a guy that they can hit, though. As we say that, he's behind 3-0.
How about that?
So
Dalton
fitting.
Rushing takes 3 pitches, most of them high, 3-0 count. Rushing, the designated hitter today, often seen at first, shows bunt but pulls back. It catches the zone, a 3-1 count. Right back in it goes Rushing.
Yeah, the Braves have 19 runs on 28 base hits against Falmouth for the first 2 games. They had 12 on 6 runs scored in the win on Friday night.
2 strikes in a row, looking at them. Rushing is at the 4 spot for a reason. He has been one of the most productive Bourne Braves batters this entire season, just in the first third. High fly ball, that's going to be in shallow left. Underneath it is Hall, coming in and making the catch for out number 1.
Yeah, Rushing had that long, no doubt home run to almost dead center, almost right center at Gov Fuller Field last time. He was 1 for 5 in that game. The Braves were led offensively in that win by a guy who's not in the lineup today nursing with that strep throat sickness, and Christian Knapczyk, who was 3 for 5. But also good days from Lampy was 2 for 4. Max Anderson was 2 for 5. Caden Wallace 2 for 4. Bender 2 for 5. So they had 5 guys have multi-hit games. So this is a team, obviously, when they scored 13 runs on 16 hits in that, third game of the season at Gov Fuller. This is a team that has exploded offensively against the Commodores.
2 pitches and 2 strikes looking for Braylon Wimmer from South Carolina. He faces a bottom of the second with 1 out, a picture-perfect day at Durham Park. Another one. Missing outside, high.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're going to get this game in here today, because with the off day tomorrow, not looking too promising for Friday with the tropical storm making its way up from the south along the coastline up here to the Cape.
Swing and a miss. That'll do it for Braylon Wimmer. Trey McLaughlin again taking care quickly of the Bourne Braves batters.
Yeah, Friday night, Daniel expecting wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour on Friday afternoon and throughout the day, and rain continuing into Saturday morning. So Saturday's game is in question, too.
If you heard our broadcast from last night in Orleans, you would have thought that it was 40-mile-per-hour winds, because that wind was whipping, and it wasn't helping any of the batters. It was coming in from center field, swing and a miss. From Colton Bender, taking over for Peter Burns today. As expected, he faces an 0-1 count.
Yeah, Kyler Fedko would like to have a word with Mother Nature, and so would Max Anderson. Not approving of that win last night.
1-1 now. Colton Bender, the transfer from Quinnipiac to Rutgers. He's proven why he's making that big-time transition. 1-2 now after a swing and a miss. Breaking ball drops right into the dirt. Trey McLaughlin really changing it up here. A brilliant-looking breaking ball that drops right off the table. 1-2, 2 outs in the bottom of the second. The delivery, high fly ball. That's going to be in shallow right. Going over is second baseman Curiali. Taking over, though, is Brofin in right field. We're going to go to the top of the third in what might be the quickest 2 innings we've had this entire season. Scoreless in Bourne in this Western Division battle. A quick 2 innings results in a scoreless game at Durham Park. Mildly filled on the left-hand hill. And with that, I'm going to send it to Reeves Jackson for the play-by-play for the next 2 innings.
Thank you, Daniel. Jordan Patty, man, how about both of these pitchers so far for For the Fairfield right-hander and McLaughlin, 6 up, 6 down, and Jordan Patty has faced 7. He allowed the double to Armstrong, but struck out Ducart and French to follow. So early for Jordan Patty, Daniel, 3 strikeouts of the first 7 hitters through 2 innings.
Yeah, really, really quick game, efficient on both ends. Both teams really having a hard time connecting with the ball, but again, that has to do with the productivity and efficiency of these pitchers, and Jordan Patty facing the bottom part of this order. Anthony Hall, Cody Colden, and Luke Boyers to the top of the order is the 1, 2, 3 he'll be facing. So again, another opportunity to cement himself in the top of this rotation with the departures of some of the 3 best pitchers that we have for the MLB draft.
Anthony Hall steps in, the left-handed hitting left fielder, and a fastball misses, and get a little bit of a nightmare going through my head when I think of a left-handed hitting and a lefty fielder out in left field. Bring back memories of last night.
Oh, gosh.
Jared McKenzie taking a few opportunities for a Braves win away right at their fingertips after robbing a home run of Fedko, which he got turned around and made that catch. The wall in Orleans a little higher than the short wall as far as height is concerned out here in Bourne, but not too much taller. McKenzie, whose body was above that wall. This one lined hard to short, but a nice pop into the glove for Schobel and throws across to Moylan. Tanner Schobel has been as sure-handed as they come defensively at short for the Braves in the absence of the past few games of Knapjack.
And I'll tell you what, Tanner Schobel has really made his case to be that permanent shortstop. Often we see Knapjack at the position and Tanner Schobel at second, but I think from now on, once Knapjack gets back to 100%, we're going to see him mainly at second because Tanner Schobel has been flawless on the left side of the infield.
The 9-0 hitter and Cody Colden steps in. First pitch, he's going to shoot this one to right. Kyler Fedko comes in and makes the catch. Hard hit line drive there by Colden, but nothing to show for
Yeah,
it.
the Commodores are really slapping it around, but the Braves are just in the right spot at the right time. And Jordan Patty must be happy with the defense that is behind him. But again, that just shows the types of pitches that Patty is mixing up and allowing this defense behind him to make the play.
So 2 quick outs for Patty, whose pitch count is a breeze through 2 2/3 so far. First pitch changeup finds the outer half. So Patty pitching in front of his parents here today. I saw them pregame, and boy, it was fun to see. 0-1. And beautiful pitch in there for strike 2. So 0-2 here for Patty after the first pitch changeup, second pitch fastball. No balls and 2 strikes. Patty looking to get through 3 quick innings. This one lined to Schobel, who does a little hop skip, makes the catch. And that ends the top of the 3rd. The Braves bats back on offense. We head to the home half, looking to get on the board and at least get in the hit column here at Doran Park. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you from a lovely afternoon. Sun is out here at Doran Park. Daniel, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters do it for the Braves, and Colby Thomas, Joshua Moylan, and Tanner Schobel. We need to get the 7, 8, 9 guys going. Schobel's been there, but for Thomas and Moylan, guys who have been sliding at the plate trying to get back on track here.
Yeah, all guys that have something to prove. Colby Thomas was pinch hit for the last time against Katuitt. We were at Doran Park. Then we have Joshua Moylan, only 2 hits on the season. And Tanner Schobel at the 9 spot, coming in after 1 hit, but then 3 strikeouts before that. That hit coming in the 9th inning against Orleans. So all 3 guys that have something to prove with the bat in their hand that need to produce if we want to come away here against our Western Division rival.
We've always talked about it, 7, 8, 9 for the Braves. If they're going, this team and this offense, the rest of the offense flowing, it's just sometimes the runners in scoring position find themselves at the bottom of the order. And it's not just the bottom of the order that have struggled getting runners home. It's a collective effort, and everyone has had their struggles at times. Talked to Thomas before the game and said he was feeling good just like that. Fair down the line. In the corner and left, scooped up out there by Hull. But Colby Thomas, he wasn't kidding. He was feeling good in BP. A leadoff double.
Well, how about the composure there? He was way out ahead of a off-speed pitch. He stayed steady with those forearms and just got the barrel of the bat. Zipped it right by Taylor up the left field line. And Colby Thomas now threatening for the Braves to score in the bottom of the 3rd.
Colby picks up his 5th hit of the season. The Braves have a man on, the leadoff hitter in scoring position at second. This is where the Braves have struggled and need to fix their woes, hitting with runners in scoring position. First pitch outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Daniel, you got to at least get this runner over to third here, if not get him in. If you're Moylan, a productive out is just as important as anything else that could happen right here with Schobel on deck.
Well, Colby Thomas is speedy. This is going to be the first time now that McLaughlin's pitching from the stretch, and he's going to have to worry about Colby Thomas at second. He's proven that defensively with his work and his agility out in left field.
Braves led offensively in the hit column by Knapjack. Not on the lineup today, but outside of that, Joe Lampe with 12 base knocks. He's in the leadoff spot today. McLaughlin ready, 1-1 here to Moylan. Beautiful pitch. A slider catches the outside corner, 1-2. And I think for Moylan right now, Daniel, it might just be a confidence thing.
Yeah, and when you string together a couple of unproductive at-bats, and then it just, it does get in your head. You think about it, you're trying to get out of that slump, but I really do think that 1 hit is going to be the difference and might just crack him out of that funk that he's in.
1-2 leaves that fastball upstairs, a pitch that he's had trouble chasing with 2 strikes, so obviously a good sign to see him lay it off there. 2-2. Now Moylan will be looking for the fastball, but protecting if it's an off-speed pitch. You got to think that's the approach to the plate right now on 2-2 against the solid Fairfield Stag, the right-hander, and Trey McLaughlin. And look at that. Moylan with a bouncer over to second. But his teammates are going to pick him up after that. A very, very productive out. He gets a round of applause from the dugout. Moylan bounces out to Curiali, but the Braves have a runner at third here with just 1 out. Tanner Schobel on his way to the plate.
And now really any crack of the bat from Joe Lampe, or Tanner Schobel, I should say, Joe Lampe on deck. Any crack of the bat, whether that's a sacrifice fly or a grounder, as the infield comes in, will score hopefully Colby Thomas. But Joshua Moylan, it won't show on the stat sheet, but that is a productive out.
The first guy out there to greet him is Kevin Graber, and that's what you're talking about right there. Everyone in the dugout picking him up. They know he's had his struggles at the plate. Schobel steps in, infield draws in, and look at Falmouth, infield in already, trying to crack down a run here with 1 out against a guy who is a notable ground ball hitter. He's going to hit a lot on the ground, so a chance for Falmouth to try to cut down Thomas at the plate, although I doubt he'd be running on a hard grounder.
And a chance now for Tanner Schobel to bounce back after a 3-strikeout game in Orleans. He struck out in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th, and then in the 6th. He came back in the 9th with a single and started things off. But, that's really, actually, that was Joe Lampe with the single.
Schobel's going to pop this one up. It won't do the job. In the infield foul territory over at third there is Taylor, and he makes the catch. And the Braves' woes continue with runners at third and less than 2 outs.
And excuse me, that was actually Joe Lampe, who's up at bat now, who was the pinch hitter and started things off with a bunt down the right field line in the top of the 9th at Orleans. So Tanner Schobel, his woes in the batter's box as of late continue here. And Colby Thomas, though, still at third with a Joe Lampe, who had a day off yesterday.
Lampy shows bunt, pulls back. If you remember from last time, if you were listening in, Lampy had that beautiful bunt single, almost a hard grounder that pulled the Orleans first baseman way off the bag in Marcano. Lampy was then later picked off of first base. Watches that one miss outside. It was costly. Obviously, the Braves' next two batters almost put one out of the ballpark and probably would have been had not been for that severe 15-mile-an-hour wind that was blowing straight in from left field on balls hit out to that short 300-foot porch. But still hurt nonetheless as Lampy chops this one foul. Colby Thomas led off the inning with a double down the left field line. Joshua Moylan bounced out to second to move him over, and Tanner Schobel popped out in foul territory to third base. So Thomas still hanging on over there at third. Lampy in a favorable 2-1 count.
Huge at-bat here for the Braves. A similar foul ball there. It'll advance for McLaughlin to 2-2. But again, this is the same story. I feel like a broken record when I say this, but leaving men in scoring position has been the kryptonite for the Braves.
It sure has been. It's, as you mentioned, almost sounds like a broken record up here in the booth, but these are the problems you have to fix to get runs on the board like you were in the beginning of the season. Lampy skies this one to center. Boyer's coming on routine for him and makes the catch. Same story for the Braves thus far in this half inning. A leadoff double by Colby Thomas. They get him to third with one out, and the Braves unable to bring him home. We are scoreless as we head to the fourth from Doran Park on a beautiful night for baseball.
The Braves Rogers Gray. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half.
Braves Jackson, Daniel Coates back with you, and here in this break here in the bottom of the third as we head to the top of the fourth. I want to thank our sponsors here in the Cape League in 2021, and on behalf of the Falmouth Commodores, the Bourne Braves, and league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2021 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 restaurants. Daniel and I know about the 99 a good bit. We've been there a few times. Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod, Badger Sport 47 brand, Cape Cod 5-cent saving bank, Milton Cat, Mosquito Mary's, Fairway Financial, Ocean Spray, Seaside Lemon, Rogers Gray, as well as Franklin Sports, Cape Destinations, and Sullivan Tire as our corporate sponsors here in 2021. With much thanks to y'all, we could not do it without everyone supporting the Cape League and the return to baseball in 2021.
And for those of you who don't know, I am the resident Massachusetts native. Reeves alongside me is a Georgia boy coming up from the south, so I'm trying to introduce him to everything New England, whether those are IPAs or the 99 restaurant or what else is there?
Oh, man.
I've never seen a Waffle House, which apparently
yes.
I'm crazy
Oh, my
for.
goodness. If you're listening at home and you've never been to a Waffle House, I'm looking at you, just like I'm looking at Daniel right now as Patty back on the mound. But Waffle House with quite possibly, it's just one of the most comforting, but yet, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost
like
undescribable.
It's like an
Oh, no, Daniel, it's not. It's not, though. As that pitch misses high.
I'll never understand until I go down
Until you
there.
go. I'll have to take you. You got to come down to the south. If you couldn't tell by the sponsor read when I said y'all, that didn't give it away that I'm from Georgia. I don't know what does. Do I have a southern drawl up here, Daniel?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I wouldn't say you have a southern draw, but you definitely don't have a Boston accent.
I think that's fair. Not like at least Nick Galley
No.
when he comes on. Always love having Nick on, although sometimes he's not the best of luck, which we've chronicled plenty of times.
Yes, that is a recurring theme of this season. but it hasn't been too harmful for the Braves, who are now 9-1-3. They dropped one to Katuitt 2 games ago here at Bourne Park.
This one sliced to the left center field gap. That gets down, and that will be picked up by Lampy before it hits the warning track, but pulling in with a leadoff stand-up double is Braden Taylor. So a good start for the Commodores as they try to break first here in this divisional matchup.
Just like that, just like the Braves in the last half inning. They have a man in scoring position. The offense and the connection with the ball has been there, but none of these teams have been able to string it together. We might be seeing our first threat from the Falmouth Commodores. They've only been able to make it to second base with their base runners, but the top of the fourth, as we go to the middle and maybe the later half of this game, Jordan Patty's going to have to really buckle down.
Here's Jace Borfin, steps in, first pitch fastball, called strike. Patty trying to do what McLaughlin did and not surrender any runs after a leadoff double. Nothing at 1 on the way to the left-handed hitting Borfin. And he skies this one to center. Is it deep enough to tag Taylor? We shall see. Lampy's got a good arm out there. He makes the catch. Here comes Taylor to third. The throw from Lampy will be a little off target and too late. The good speed of Taylor tags up to third. And the Commodores are just in the same position the Bravos were last half inning. A runner at third, less than 2 outs. Will they be able to get him home?
Yeah, and the difference is just finding that gap for Braden Taylor. At third, covering there is Max Anderson, taking over for Zach Agnos, who went 2 for 4 yesterday with a double and a triple that scored Caden Wallace and Braylon Wimmer. So the Nebraska Cornhusker takes over defensively on the left-hand side. Not as far in as the Commodores, but the infielders for the Braves in white are right on that edge between the grass and the dirt. And again, this is the first real test for Jordan Patty today.
1-0 the count, infield of Harvey Shapiro, obviously, as he likes it, and I'm a personal fan of it as well. I like having them move halfway in. They're not all the way on the grass like we saw the Commodores a half inning ago, but enough where they have the ability to make the strong throw to the plate on a ground ball, gives them a little more range as well. 1-0 misses, 2 balls and no strikes here to Michael Curiali, who hit the grand slam against Ben Etheridge and the Braves in that first game, in which highlighted a 5-run fifth for the Commodores, although they were eventually beat 13-8 in that game. Sent back to the screen out of play. Patty looking to keep this game scoreless, and what this game has been moving quickly along. 6:45, we are already in the top of the 4th inning.
We have 45 minutes in the 4th inning. That is by far the quickest game that we've had to call. I think I was on play-by-play for 15 minutes.
Yeah, on pace for, what, a 2-hour and 15-minute game as that slider misses outside.
And you can't necessarily blame right now Jordan Patty or the Braves defense. The Commodores have consistently been hitting the ball, but they just are finding the gaps at a higher rate than the Braves right now. But the Braves offense really has to step up.
3-1, fastball called strike, inner half, and now Patty with a big opportunity to potentially get a strikeout of Curiali and make it 2 down with the runner at third.
Curiali coming into this game 13 for 48 on the season with a 2.70 ER average, I should say.
Curiali slices this one just foul down the right field line.
He has 13 RBIs, and that piece of hitting is why he is really, really effective in that 4 spot. And he just took that one the other way, and it drifted right, but he has 13 RBIs for the Commodores on the season. 2 home runs adds to that. With Braden Taylor on third, he's a dangerous guy to have up.
He sure is. On the season, a 271 hitter is Curiali coming into play today. 3-2, fouls it back to the screen. Daniel, I learned from our official scorer, Mr. Bob, that there's a name for that, what we call pesky-ish pull in right field.
Oh, yeah?
It's called Froggy's Pull.
Froggy's Pull.
It was named after one of the team officials who then retired from the Bourne Braves, and they named it after him. So Froggy's Pole.
Well, it's
How about that?
It's as shallow as that left field at Orleans from last night.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, sitting at 300. The wind is battling that side. It's blowing left center out from the plate today, so it might be a tough 300 to get to, whether you're pulling that or taking it opposite field. But I'm glad we don't have to call it pesky-ish pull now.
Yes, we got a name for it. Thank goodness. Patty with an upcoming big payoff pitch. He's ready, comes home, and that is inside ball 4. So Patty issues a walk to bring up Christopher Armstrong, but the Braves now have set themselves up in a double play opportunity with a guy who is pretty easy to double up if he puts one on the ground hard at someone.
And the infield will retreat back a bit from the edge of the grass towards the edge of the grass in the outfield. This will be the 5-spot hitter, Christopher Armstrong. He doubled for the first base runner the Commodores put on in the game. That was back in the 2nd inning.
First pitch, right back to Patty, who bobbles it. He's only going to have one play to first, and he gets his man. Unfortunate, he was going to have either a double play opportunity or a chance to get Taylor at the plate. Nonetheless, he gets the out at first, the second out of the inning, but it does bring home the game's first run, and Falmouth leads 1-0.
Yeah, can't really fault Jordan Patty there. It's a hard ground ball to field. It's really quick right back to him, and he might have thought a little bit about the next step rather than fielding it, but, you know, he recovered well, get the out at first, I should say, for the second out. But scoring is Braden Taylor from third.
Had an opportunity there to get 2, but good job by Patty to recollect himself and get the runner at first in Armstrong. So now 2 down in the inning, runner at second, and a much more manageable chance to get out of this with only allowing 1 run as Ducard steps in, struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. On a gorgeous night, you see on our camera behind home plate. 1-0, this one's skied to Lampy. He moves back, now settles under it, and makes the grab. 1 run for the Commodores. They do that on the leadoff double by Braden Taylor. Advance him to third and brought home by the Christopher Armstrong ground out. And we head to the bottom of the 4th and just want to talk a little bit to Calvin Cristoforo, our sideline reporter, about some of these struggles of the Braves' woes offensively as they've compiled 18 hits now in the past 2 games, Calvin, but only 2 runs to show for it. So what does this team need to do, as we saw it even last inning with leaving a runner on third after the show will pop up? What does this team need to do to be a little more productive, and have you talked to anybody and how they feel about leaving runners on base thus far?
Well, you know, Reeves, I'm not sure if urgency is the right word. You mentioned their hits, 18 over the past 2 games. You know what that tells me? It means they're 1 hit away. When you get runners in scoring position, you get runners on the base pass, you got to get that big hit to drive them in. That's something they haven't done. You look at the game tonight, runner on third base, less than 2 outs. Got to bring that guy home. That's a missed opportunity for the Braves. So they get that one big hit. That's really going to turn this offense around. And you talked about the vibe in the dugout. Obviously, they're not changed. It's a loose group of guys that are always having fun playing the game. So that's not going to change. The Braves just need that one big hit.
Thank you, Calvin. Great report. Obviously, the Braves aren't trying to not score runners, Daniel, when they get runners on third. It's obviously much easier for us to say than it is for these players to do. And it's just something that's going to come with time. You know, obviously, it's just might be a little bit mental, too, as Calvin talked about. Might be a little bit in their heads, but, you know, they'll break out of the slump here soon. And this is an offense that has so much capability. They'll end up turning it around for sure.
And instead of looking at this as a broken record scenario where I give the same advice, I'm going to look at this as an opportunity. We're down 1-0. We're going to have to score a run to either come away with a tie or a win tonight. So let's see what this offense can do. It's not like we haven't been making contact off of McLaughlin. We just got to, you know, keep our head down, keep pushing, and I hope Kyler Fedko can start things off. He was the leadoff yesterday at Orleans. He was robbed twice of a home run. So maybe we're going to see a shot here from Kyler Fedko, but, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. They're going to drop eventually. Baseball is sometimes it's just a game of luck, and sometimes it's just a game of chance.
Yeah, and obviously only 2 strikeouts, as you mentioned. They've been getting contact. One of those did come from the guy in the batter's box in Fedko back in the first. Braves have a 1 hit. That was the leadoff double by Colby Thomas. Good to see him back in action. Is that one called strike? 1 and 2 here now to Kyler Fedko. One, two on the way, and Fedko chops this one foul. Fedko expected to depart for the Major League Baseball draft, which begins for everybody on Sunday, July 11th. It finishes up on Tuesday, July 13th, which obviously begins the night of the MLB All-Star Game. So excited for that to come up. We are in action that night, and Fedko skies this one to left. Hall back a step or two from where he originally positioned up, makes the catch, and 1 down.
Patty favoring the left field in the pull.
Now batting the third
We
baseman
know
for
that
the
he had
University
some
of Nebraska,
trouble with his
number
bat.
51,
He broke it in the game
Max
against
Anderson.
Katuitt. Now has a new bat and has been really showing his power. Just a bit lucky and a bit off on the contact there. Here's a guy, Max Anderson, who has a ton of power, the Big Ten freshman of the year.
And now Anderson, first pitch swinging, skies it high to right. Underneath it is Borfin, and the Braves have 2 consecutive flyouts here to begin things in their half of the 4th inning. So 2 quick outs for Dalton Rushing, who flew out to Hall his last time up.
Dalton Rushing.
As we have the choppers, look at that on the screen. You see it going across out in center field. Cut it to Rushing for a moment, but cool to see the military influence obviously here on the Cape. You see it off in the distance on the left side of the screen.
Dalton Rushing flew out to left field in his last appearance in the 2nd inning, but how about McLaughlin right now? Pitching a gem, only 1 hit for the Braves today, and that was a double from Colby Thomas, and he was well ahead of it. So he has kept these Bourne Braves batters on their toes.
1-1, Rushing skies it above us. Daniel, that's the thing, though. It's like, even though the Braves aren't scoring runs right now, it's not like they're in a position where they're 4, 5, 6 games back of first place, needing to get these hits and needing to get these wins or ties to gain points. They're 4.5 games up over the 3 teams that are tied for second in the division right now in Wareham, Falmouth, and Katuitt. So this is a team that has the ability, and they can afford to kind of figure it out offensively as far as hitting with runners in scoring position and getting those runners home, because they had such a hot start, and that's where things have paid off for them.
And, of course, putting up 9 wins before recording a loss is always going to set your expectations higher than maybe is realistic. But for a team like this that showed such firepower early on, it's really crucial for momentum that they keep it up. And I think he's going to get the same result here as he did in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, Rushing skies once again to Hall. This one a few steps shy of the warning track and makes the catch. 3 flyouts for the Braves in their half of the 4th. And we head to the 5th here at Doran Park with the Commodores leading 1-0. Reeves Jackson, Daniel Coates back with you from a military training ground, apparently.
We have helicopters circling this entire field doing looks like tricks out in
Yeah,
center.
right?
But, yeah, a cool environment.
Awesome.
Adding to a perfect night for baseball. As the lights come on, we're slowly creeping towards nighttime in Bourne. As you mentioned, Reeves, the next few days not looking good weather-wise, so to go into what will be an off day tomorrow, but what might be a hiatus for 3 or so days, especially with this field that doesn't do a great job at holding water, it's going to be huge for the Braves to go into that off time on a high note.
Absolutely, and Daniel, for innings 5 and 6, my friend, take it away.
Jonathan French ropes one into right field in between Braylon Wimmer and Joshua Moylan. First pitch swinging, and the Falmouth Commodores have a man on first.
Yeah, didn't take long to get that top of the fifth started, did French. Someone who the Braves have had his number in the few games that these two teams have played.
So top of the fifth, the Falmouth Commodores are your leader by 1 with a man on first. Jonathan French, the catcher, starts things off and sets the spark for the Commodores. That is fair. I think they're going to call it foul, though. It went off the ankle of Anthony Hall, who grounded to Tanner Schobel at shortstop his last appearance in the second inning.
Yeah, Harvey Shapiro out of the dugout right there towards the left. He wasn't quite so sure that hit off the ankle of Hall. But he'll walk back into the dugout. Just wanted to confirm, but yeah, French was 0 for 4 in the last game against the Braves. Had 3 strikeouts as well from Lilburn, Georgia, Clemson catcher. As you noted, Daniel, you can tell he goes to Clemson by the way of his catcher's gear.
Another rope to right center. Jonathan French turning to, going towards third, holding up at first is Anthony Hall, and just like that, a first and third situation for the Falmouth Commodores in black.
Just a great piece of hitting. They're getting to Jordan Patty a bit here in this top of the fifth inning. Just 2 great pieces of hitting on the first 2 pitches of this inning, so wasting no time is French and Hall. French just lining that base hit to right, and Hall pokes that into right center, and now Harvey Shapiro is going to likely go get Jordan Patty here to begin this fifth.
A fifth inning appearance for Jordan Patty. That's, I think, about the longest we've seen from any Braves starter. He has been effective, but just a few hits that are strung together by the Falmouth Commodores have proven to put them in an attacking position here in the top of the fifth and back in the top of the fourth. That's going to do it for Jordan Patty's day. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher jogging in from left field when we come back in just a few moments. On the mound now is Ben Etheridge, the Southern Miss slinger, and he will be in for an opportunity to shut down a Falmouth Commodores offense that already has men on first and third.
Yeah, Etheridge on the season now making his 4th appearance, and ever since he was roughed up against Falmouth. So last time he faced these Commodores, he gave up the grand slam to Curiali and allowed 3 hits. He walked 2 and allowed 5 earned runs, did not record an out, but then was much more solid against Cotuit. He gave up the home run to Andy Garriola, who burned us a few nights ago for the Braves' first loss of the year. Went 2 innings, allowed a run, 2 hits. He did not issue a walk and struck out 2 against 8 batters and faced the minimum against Cotuit in that loss. 1 inning, no hits, no walks, and a strikeout. So he's built on his performance every single time thus far. Obviously, the runners on base account to Jordan Patty, but Etheridge trying to limit those inherited runners from scoring at least a man at first in Anthony Hall. Obviously, it would be tough to keep French from scoring with nobody down, but if he can allow Hall to stay on the base paths to end this inning, would be a big win for the Bravos.
Jonathan French on third base and Anthony Hall on first. Both had base knocks to right field. No outs in the top of the 5th. Etheridge's first pitch from the stretch. Swing and a miss from Cody Colden at the 9 spot. Good start from Ben Etheridge. Again, a 1st and 3rd situation for the Bourne Braves here. The Orleans Firebirds scored off of a Peter Burns throw down to second in a stealing first base runner. And that was the 2nd run of the game. So a really interesting situation for the Braves, and don't want to give up another one. 2-0 is a whole different story than 1-0.
Yeah, it sure is, absolutely. We saw the Braves go down just 1-0 tonight last night, I should say, before they got 2 on the Agnos triple.
1-1, 1-2, fouled off. Cody Colden, he lined out in his last appearance right towards Kyler Fedko, who, as you mentioned, Reeves, might be departing soon enough for the MLB draft from UConn. That would be the 2nd UConn Husky to leave us, as Reggie Crawford has departed over a week ago for Team USA.
Yeah, and hit his first homer yesterday.
Yeah. 1-2, wind right up the middle, turn to Tanner Schobel. They turn 2 right towards Joshua Moylan, but scoring is Jonathan French from third, and RBI for Cody Colden, 2-0. The Commodores lead by a pair.
Well, don't get the RBI for the double play ball, but does get the run in regardless. So Colden, who unfortunately for himself won't have the RBI added to his stat sheet. He helps produce the Commodores' 2nd run, but for Etheridge, great job. He got the double play ball, 4-6-3, and now the bases are empty.
Etheridge misses inside and has already let up 1, but Tanner Schobel and Braylon Wimmer have done a solid job making up ground in the top of the 5th. 2-0. Good pace on that fastball. We don't have the exact number. We've been spoiled with away scoreboards.
We have. We sure have been.
seeing the velocity off the hand. Foul ball, 2-1. And Eric Adler is really, other than Reggie Crawford, the highest velocity. He's the closer that we've seen in 6 games from Wake Forest. He's hit 95, 96.
Yeah, Eric Adler is by far probably the most shutdown reliever, I'd have to say, in the entire Cape League this season. And that's not putting it lightly.
2-1, weak ground ball right to Braylon Wimmer. He scoops it up and throws it right over to Joshua Moylan. That's going to do it for the top of the 5th. Ben Etheridge comes in, grounds a Falmouth Commodore into a double play, but scoring is Jonathan French for the 2nd run. The Commodores are on the road with a 2-0 lead, going to the bottom of the 5th. calm before the storm here, Reeves, as we have word back towards my hometown in Situate, in the Boston area, that the tropical storm that's traveling north, and I think it hit Atlanta if I'm not mistaken, that is traveling north, and I believe it started in central Massachusetts and towards the Boston area. But a beautiful night here.
Yeah.
0-1 to Braylon Wimmer. 0-2 after that. Cut Braylon Wimmer is the 5 spot. He struck out in the second inning.
Yeah, right down there in Georgia right now in that Savannah area, southern part of Georgia, on that southeast corner down towards Brunswick and the Jacksonville area of Florida. It's going to miss Atlanta. I was talking to my family earlier, so thank goodness. It should miss Atlanta as far as the strong stuff.
1-2, line towards the shortstop. Scooped up by Colden, gunned over. Braylon Wimmer can't beat it. What a backhand play from Cody Colden over there on the left side of the infield. 1 out, and Colden does it the hard way in the bottom of the 5th.
I was about to say, my goodness, speaking of strong, there's a hard hit ball there by Wimmer, but an even better backhanded pick there by Colden, and delivered an absolute fastball over there towards Armstrong. So tough luck there for Wimmer, but hit it right on the nose.
Colton Bender with his second opportunity of the day. Flew out to right field. He looks at a strike, and just looking down at this stat sheet today for the Braves, there hasn't been a lack of contact. It's just been a lack of luck as far as where those are placed. Another ground ball to Colton. He attacks it, guns it over. Colton Bender can't beat it. A good scoop by Armstrong at first for the Commodores. 2 quick outs.
And Braves are hitting it hard this inning, Daniel, here against McLaughlin, but just nothing to show for it. A one-hit shutout gem through 4 2/3 for McLaughlin so far. The Braves finally get a few balls hit right on the button, but nothing to show for it, just right at these players, so nothing they can do about that. Just keep putting good wood on the ball.
2 outs to Colby Thomas. He flares one into the net foul. He's behind early, but Colby Thomas is the only Bourne Brave that has posted a hit on the day. He zipped one past the third baseman right before the chalk. He got things started back in the second inning. 1-1. Good to see Colby Thomas, the Mercer Bear, get a hit on the board. He struggled a bit with pop flies. Swing and a miss off a breaking ball. Brilliant stuff from the slinger from Falmouth.
Hey, you mentioned it last night, Daniel. That's just trying to be on the other side of the ball. You want to hit it to the opposite field. And don't want to get too pull happy, especially against these pitchers. And sometimes that can lead to getting out on your front foot and popping up baseballs. And Colby, even though he did pull that ball down the third base line, it was an off-speed pitch. So he waited back on it. Sometimes on that same pitch, he was getting out in front and popping it up.
2-2, flare to right field. It might get into the gap. Backing up is the second baseman, Curriali, who finishes off the bottom of the 5th. The Braves continue to find the gaps, or continue to look for the gaps, I should say, and continue to find Falmouth Commodores defenders. To the top of the 6th we go. The Falmouth Commodores of the West Division on the road with a 2-0 lead.
Reeves Jackson here with Daniel Coates back with you from Doran Park as Ben Etheridge back on the mound. He only needed to face 2 batters last inning as he came in for Jordan Patty and got a 4-6-3 double play ball to Cody Colden, and they got the ground out to Luke Boyers.
4 hits for the Falmouth Commodores on the day. Etheridge, a ground ball. Braylon Wimmer scoops it up, finishes it at first. So Braylon Wimmer, often seen at left field, transitioning over there to second. He's seen equally at both positions, but he looks comfortable on the right side of the infield.
Yeah, he sure does. Braylon has been playing pretty solid at second base lately, Daniel. As you mentioned, he's been nice and left. He's been good at second. Just had that one little pop fly mistake at Katuitt, but outside of that, he's been sure-handed.
First pitch, breaking ball. This is to Chase Brophin. He flew out to center field. It was a hard-hit ball right up the middle. Swing and a miss there, 0-2. So Ben Etheridge quickly working in the top of the 6th, 1 out. The 3-spot hitter, Jace Brophin, Michael Curiali behind him. 0-2 grounder. Trying to get there is Tanner Schobel. He dives. It doesn't end up in the glove. Rolls out to left field. Thomas fields it. And a 1-out base hit for Chase Brophin.
Now batting, the second baseman from UCLA, number 6, Michael.
Yeah, just
Curiali.
tough luck there. Nice diving attempt there by Tanner Schobel. Wasn't going to have it anyways, but gave the effort and trickles into left field.
Michael Curiali in the 4 spot from UCLA. Curiali has flown out to right field and walked back in the 4th. Top of the 6th with Brophin on first. Etheridge checking in on him, seeing if he's okay, if he needs a drink, if he needs a snack. He says he's fine, though. He's safe at first. So an 0-0 count, 1 out, top of the 6th. Ben Etheridge from Southern Miss taking over for Jordan Patty. The lights on here, missing outside. We've already seen the double play ball up the middle between Tanner Schobel and Braylon Wimmer, so would not be surprised to see that again, as Etheridge has thrown a couple of pitches that have resulted in ground balls here.
Yeah, he was efficient. Talk about coming into that 1st and 3rd situation, got the double play ball of Cody Colden, then got Luke Boyers to bounce out over to Wimmer. So we got Wimmer to Schobel to Moylan, 4-6-3 up the middle, and then Wimmer got the final out. So 2 batters and 3 outs is about as good as you can do outside of a triple play.
Most certainly. A 1-1 count. Etheridge from the stretch. 2-0. The Falmouth Commodores have taken the lead in the early parts of this game. And again, only 1 hit for the Braves. They had Colby Thomas at 3rd with an opportunity to take the lead and draw first blood, but they didn't take advantage. Great breaking ball there. Couldn't tell Reeves that was breaking ball or a changeup. The last 4 games for the Braves, there have only been 6 runs total, and that average across the board has been 231. So, including this game, thank you for all the help. Nick Galley, weak ground ball. Tanner Schobel, opportunity for 2. Braylon Wimmer has him at second. Joshua Moylan can't stretch far enough to beat the run of Michael Curiali, but 2 outs with a ground ball up the middle to Tanner Schobel.
Yeah, nice job there. Almost got the double play. A slow roller that Schobel had to charge.
The first baseman from the University of Florida, number 23.
Just a little too slow up the middle as far as the roll of the ball. The infield turned it quickly, but nice job by Curiali. Beat it down to first, which is on a fielder's choice.
But as I was saying, we always appreciate the statistics and the writing from our beat reporter, Nick Galley. First pitch breaking ball swung on. Ben Etheridge ahead 0-1, but we always appreciate the stats that he provides us and all the information that he has at the ready. Curiali at first. Missing fastball low. 2 outs. 1-1 count. Curiali getting on after a fielder's choice. The throw is not quick enough by Braylon Wimmer for the double play. 1-1. That one catches the furthest corner outside. 1-2. So although it is storming up north of us, it is a perfect night here. You could never tell that there was a storm closing in. The crowd is pleasantly sitting here at the field. Hard line drive right towards Joe Lampe and right into his glove. He doesn't have to move much, as that will end the top of the 6th. To the bottom of the 6th that we go, 2-0. The Bourne Braves are down to the Falmouth Commodores, who we have a 2-0 record against, both times beating them on the road at Gov Fuller. My name's Daniel Coates, alongside me, Reeves Jackson. We'll be back in a few moments with the bottom of the 6th. Joshua Moylan, the first baseman today for the Bourne Braves, will start things off in the bottom of the 6th. From East Carolina, high fly ball to left field. Hall pursuing, and underneath it, out number 1 off the first pitch. Joshua Moylan continues to look for those gaps, but he has been effective today. It didn't pay off. He moved over Colby Thomas from 2nd to 3rd with a ground ball on the right side back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, you know you're getting shut down offensively when your second at-bat comes in the 6th inning. My goodness, Trey McLaughlin, a one-hitter through now 5 1/3 innings. He has been absolutely incredible in slowing down a Braves offense, though, as Nick mentioned, just 6 runs over the course of their last 4 games, including tonight, and a 231 that dropped into the 220s, the average, after that Moylan fly ball to left.
Check swing from Tanner Schobel. Checking down to the first base umpire, he says he held off. 1-1. Tanner Schobel has been so impressive at that shortstop position over the last few games. 1-2. He looks at a breaking ball that catches the lower half of the zone. 1-2, 1 out. On deck is top of the order, Joe Lampe. The delivery fouled off weakly behind him. 1-2. It stays.
Umpiring crew tonight of Kevin Coughlin behind the plate, Jeff Merzel over at first. Can't read my own handwriting. And over at third is Jim Bourne.
1-2. Swing and a miss. McLaughlin making quick work of a Bourne Brave once again. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th and just a handful of pitches. We're going to go to the top of the order. Joe Lampe's 3rd at-bat of the game. He popped up to short and flew out to center. And boy, do the Braves need some sort of production here. Only 1 hit on the day. Ground ball to second, moving to his left. Curiali scoops it up. Does Joe Lampe beat it? He might. Yes, he does. Wow. The speedy Sun Devil beats him down the line. Curiali took a funky hop right into his left shoulder. He fielded it cleanly, but it wasn't quick enough for Joe Lampe.
You have to imagine that'll be scored a hit. It is. So second base hit for the Braves today. They needed that. Obviously a play that Curiali would usually have, but that ball just took a weird hop, as you mentioned. He had to kind of glove it up, and then he couldn't get the ball out of his hand in time to get Lampe, who was flying down the line as he always does. The thing about Lampe, he never takes an at-bat off as far as when it comes to running down the base pass on any ground ball, because he has a shot at beating any ground ball.
So Joe Lampe on first. Kyler Fedko. Joe Lampe dives back, and we were joking after the tie game 2-2 yesterday in Orleans with Joe Lampe after he just said he got to be better after he got on base with a bunt down the right field line and was quickly picked off at first, and he just said, shook his head and looked at us and said with a laugh, he just has to be better. And we told him, hey, we wouldn't have been in that position without him. So Flair behind him, 0-1, and Joe Lampe, you don't often see that, but it was a great pickoff move by the Orleans closer.
Yeah, it absolutely was. He was checking on Lampe, almost got him on a previous pickoff move, and then finally caught him on that second one. Yeah. That's the thing with this Braves offense, Daniel. They just need a bloop and a blast, as the saying goes. Obviously, Lampe with a ground ball over to second that Curiali had a little trouble fielding. And if somehow Fedko is able to put one over the wall, all of a sudden it's a brand new ball game. So that's the thing. It's only a 2-run game, so it's so manageable. And once you're able to chase McLaughlin from this game and get to the Falmouth bullpen that hasn't been so great on the season, you can really do anything you want to.
The 0-1, high fly ball, another fly ball to the outfield. Brofen underneath it in shallow right. 1, 2, 3 down. Joe Lampe getting down, actually, off a infield single, and Kyler Fedko ending the bottom of the sixth. We're going to be right back, and Reeves Jackson will take you away.
Yeah, the Braves looking to keep Falmouth at 2 runs and try to take the lead when they come back to the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Right here from Bourne Park, 2-0 Falmouth. Reeves Jackson joined here by Nick Galley, guest here in the top of the 7th. And Nick, well, in a 2-0 game, the Braves bats have been awfully quiet here tonight.
Silent, honestly. I mean, 2 hits scattered through 6 innings. You know, one of these hits came last inning. So it's been a really tough night for the Braves. Best starting performance from an opposing pitcher that we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
And the Braves just can't seem to figure him out.
Yeah, Trey McLaughlin has been outstanding, as is his fellow Fairfield Stag and Michael Sansone for the Braves out of the bullpen that he's been seen in the 2 appearances this year. So Jake Ducart will lead things off here against Ben Etheridge. And excuse me, Tapper, that's about as unlucky as you can get as a hitter. And Colton Bender, who we've seen pounce out of that crouch multiple times and make plays like that, does it again for the first out.
Yeah, Colton Bender's offense has been kind of the staple of his play, but his defense, especially at Bourne Park over the past few games, has been incredible.
Yeah, it sure has, absolutely. But you can't say enough good things, Nick. We're talking about it as Jonathan French steps to the plate. But we were talking about it, Daniel and I were on the air when we were just looking at some of these statistics as far as the team pitching totals go. And before this game, coming into today, obviously now the Braves having allowed, I believe, pulling up the numbers here, so taking a minute, the Wi-Fi at Bourne
Taking
Park.
forever. I don't have this kind of time, Reeves.
You know what,
I
Nick?
got places to be, things to do.
Gosh, This Nick Galley, I tell you what. But Nick, obviously, the Braves coming into today, 25 earned runs allowed
they
in
allowed
115 innings. Unbelievable.
I mean, they've only allowed 2 runs today. Like, this is the thing I said the other night. You give up 2 runs at home through 9 innings with your entire pitching staff. I don't care who gives up the runs. It could be your closer gives up 2 in the 9th. Obviously, you don't want that. Or, your starter gives up 2 in the very first inning. Or you scatter 2 runs across the game. You give up 2 runs in a baseball game, you got to win that game, especially if you're at home.
Yeah,
I mean, home
absolutely.
or road, you should win that game, but especially if you're at home. And it's been mesmerizing to see how bad this team has been at home.
Yeah.
Offensively.
Offensively, yeah, absolutely.
Defensively, they're great. Pitching, they're great. But offensively, I don't know what it is.
Missing outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes, but it's just wild to imagine that coming into this game in 115 innings, you've allowed 25 earned runs, and then you take a look at the Chatham Anglers in 121 innings, just 6 more innings pitched, 63 earned runs.
I mean,
that is a wild difference from the top to the bottom.
It's nauseating how much of a difference that is. Like, I'm sick up here.
I
feel seasick up here.
It almost makes you think, and obviously, there's going to be nights, obviously, in every baseball game. Whoever's playing, there's going to be nights when you're slow offensively.
Yeah.
But you look at what the pitching staff has done in almost just scoring an average of 2 to 3 runs per game. And the Braves really could be looking at opportunities in which they wouldn't even have a loss or maybe even not even have a tie this year. And that 1-1 tie, they had a 3-3 tie. And if you look at what the offense has done.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, if the Braves scored 4 runs in every game this year, they'd be, what game are we at, 14 right now?
Yes, 9-1-3 record.
Yeah, so
yes.
They would be 13-0. Correct?
Correct. You're not wrong.
And then tonight, I mean, barring any more runs, they score 4 runs again. 14-0.
Absolutely.
I mean, 4 runs is 4 runs. It's really not that tough. You should be able to get, I mean, obviously there will be nights, as you said.
It'd be different as this one fouled back.
I would have had that. That should have came.
It'd be different if the team wasn't getting any hits. If it was like today when they were getting 2 hit or 3 hit throughout the game. But this is a team that we talked about coming into today over the course of the past 2 games. 18 hits, but just 2 runs to show for it.
Well, yeah, 9 hits over the past 3, too, if we want to throw in the tie beforehand, before the loss against Catuit. And, yeah, I mean, you're averaging 9 hits a game. You should be able to win, but the thing is, I know these aren't the exact numbers. It seems like for all 9 innings of the game, they get the leadoff hitter on base, and they can't score him. And a lot of times, it's like a leadoff double, too. You have a guy in scoring position with no outs, and you can't get him across the dish. So, at that point, I feel like, suppose in these last 3 at-bats, you get a guy on second base with no outs, even 1 out, move him over. Just any way you can. Probably not 1 out because then, 2 outs, guy on third. You're kind of forcing yourself to get a base hit. But no outs, guy in scoring position, move him over.
Nick, do you think this is weighing on the pitching staff at all as far as they know they're going out night in and night out? They're doing their job. They're limiting these opposing offenses to roughly just 2 runs a game as far as when you look at their staff ERA, just a hair over 2 now. After giving up 2 last night to Orleans and 2 today to Falmouth, is this one chopped foul? 0-2 as Etheridge has a runner at first and 1 down with Anthony Hall here at the plate. But do you feel like the pitching staff is like, okay, it'd be nice to have some run support as far as we're pulling the load here, guys?
100%. You said 25 runs through 115 innings.
Coming into play today,
Coming into play, so that's 13 games, 25 runs. Right now, it's 14 games, 27 runs.
Through, 121
whatever
innings?
But, I mean, 28 or 27 runs, 14 games. Your pitching staff's averaging less than 2 runs per game in all technical. I mean, it's 1.94 or whatever. I don't know the math. Whatever 1 and 13/14 is, I'm not even going to get into that now.
We're not math majors here.
No, but he went.
Yeah, he sure did, and they call him out on strikes, 2 down.
But when your pitching staff is allowing less than 2 runs a game, first of all, that's insane. Second of all, there's no way that keeps up for the entire year. I wouldn't think, or else you have the best pitching staff in baseball history.
I was just about to say.
And then 3, of course, it's going to weigh on your pitching staff if you're not getting run support. If you're losing games where you're giving up 1-2 runs, I don't know what games you're going to win.
I think it brings back to the entire point of as this one popped up here into shallow center. Joe Lampe comes on. Nick, I'm going to keep you on the air here before we close it out, but I think it just brings back to the point of, obviously, the Braves offense had multiple games in which they scored so many runs. But if you think about if the pitching staff had just been normal, this is not normal. This is incredible what the pitching staff has been able to do. So I think if you take a look at it, in a way, we're lucky to have the record that we do.
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm not just critical. Look,
no doubt.
Look, the offense has been just fine up until the last few games, and they've
Without
still
a doubt,
been getting hits. I'm not trying to say that the offense isn't performing.
I don't know, Reeves. Sounds like you're just tossing this team right under the bus.
No, that's exactly no, not exactly at all what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to say that the team that has struggled to score with runners in scoring position, but it's not like they're getting 2 hits, 3 hits a game. They're getting runners on base. So I think what I was telling Daniel earlier in the game, all these situations will start to fall for them eventually.
Hopefully.
I think they will. I think they will.
At some point, like, the tide has to turn over once again.
And the other thing I was telling Daniel earlier, it's a different situation for the Braves. If you're like one of these teams 4.5 games out, when the offense is going through a little bit of a slide like this with runners in scoring position, and you're trying to crawl back into games when you're already 4.5 games out, the Braves have a great luxury right now of being 4.5 games up on 3 teams in the division, including 8 games up on last place Hyannis. So luckily for the Braves right now, they have plenty of time and a lot of wiggle room to figure out how to get these runners in at the plate. Obviously, the problem isn't getting on base and getting hits. It's just trying to figure out how to score these guys from third. The pitching staff has been phenomenal, but I think they're going to be able to figure it out offensively.
I think so, too. They just need to
Too talented not to.
Oh, exactly. They just need to avoid a major slide.
Absolutely.
And you can easily get into one of those when the offense has been like this. So I think they need to get some hits, get some guys in sooner rather than later. Obviously, that's kind of the story in baseball, but I think they'll be just fine. Obviously, after a 9-game win streak and then a 11-game undefeated streak, it's pretty easy to, feel pretty down about a team when they drop a couple games or don't look as great.
I think we're spoiled over
here. A little bit of an overreaction, but
it is.
I guess that's
but
life.
Gotta talk something on the broadcast,
we have
right?
To, yeah. We gotta keep it interesting.
Well, big news for the Braves. It's the right-hander Trey McLaughlin out of the game, and we'll tell you about the new left-hander when we come back with Daniel Coates. Nick Galley, always great to have you and to talk shop here in the Braves
Reeves,
booth.
My sweet Southern friend.
Wow,
that's
I
great.
love it.
Great to have you on.
That's the best nickname I've ever had. We'll be right back here from Bourne Park. Well, Daniel Coates, happy to have you back with me here from the balcony of the Bourne Park press box. Daniel, I think I'm going to say this unbiasedly. I think we have the best setup of any team. I love being outside here with behind the home plate. It's like the Wareham setup, except we just get to be behind home plate with a better camera angle.
Yeah, it's almost like it's Shakespearean. It's like we're giving we're performing a play above a crowd that's here to watch baseball.
Absolutely. It's pretty cool.
It is a really, really cool setup that we have. A lot of people are inside in the press box. We are outside enjoying the summer weather on the Cape and calling baseball games. I mean, what else is better?
You're not kidding. Anthony DeFabia is the new left-hander on the mound for Falmouth. So the Braves breathe a sigh of relief as they finally get Trey McLaughlin out of the game, and look at that. The first batter that DeFabia faces, Max Anderson, ropes one down into the left field fence. And Max Anderson pulls into second with a lead-off double. And maybe that's the spark the Braves need offensively. Here against the new pitcher, against a guy, McLaughlin was shutting them down. But now here against DeFabia from Stetson, Daniel, they have a real chance to finally break through today.
Max Anderson slapped that to left field, and I didn't think that he was going to be able to make it to second, but Hall had to field that one off the wall in left field, and he just didn't handle it as quickly as he expected, and Max Anderson trotted to second. So here's Dalton rushing, and something that I said was, I think it's a calm night, a slight breeze out to the outfield. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Maybe a poke out of the field here. I don't want to jinx it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see it.
Hey.
Give it to us, Dalton. Leadoff double for Max Anderson. We have loved what we have seen from him so far. A breaking ball that I think DeFabia wants back because that got a little too much of the play, but he'll take the result. A tapper foul right shy of French behind the dish. Rushing also wish he had that chance back. This is the 4th appearance of the season for DeFabia. 5'11", 175-pound left-hander from Bronxville, New York. Has not appeared in a game against the Braves this year, although despite this being their 3rd game against each other. 0-1 here to Rushing, and he fouls that back to the net. But this is DeFabia's 4th appearance overall in the season. His longest outing came at Hyannis. 4 innings of shutout baseball, allowed 2 hits, struck out 4. His last appearance was June 29th at Chatham, so he's had a bit of a layoff since his last outing. Went 2 innings, allowed a run, but it was unearned on 1 hit, did not issue a walk, and struck out 2.
Good eye from Dalton Rushing there. He has an opportunity now with Max Anderson, the newcomer Cornhusker, and Braylon Wimmer, who is now on deck at that 5 spot. Both guys who have the opportunity to put their power behind the ball. But with Max Anderson at 2nd and no outs here in the bottom of the 7th, it's again another opportunity for the Braves to get some runs on the board and really put the pressure on the Falmouth Commodores for the first time in this game. That one is chopped foul by Dalton Rushing. It stays at 1-2. Rushing on the day flew out to left and flew out to left again. So Hall is on his toes out there in left field for the Commodores.
Look at that one get away from the catcher French behind the plate. And now Max Anderson moves up 90 feet. And all of a sudden, the Braves, with a prime opportunity to bring in the game's first run as far as their offense is concerned. Runner on 3rd, nobody down. And a 2-2 count here to Rushing. That curveball there from DeFabia just uncorked a little too wild.
Dalton Rushing battling back with a 2-2 count. That was a theme that we saw last night in Orleans.
Rushing pokes this one into center. That falls. It's an RBI single. Anderson trots home, and the Braves have something going here in their home 7th. It's 2-1.
All started by Max Anderson's shot into left field, and Dalton Rushing, all he had to do was make contact, a little flare, just shy of Boyers in center. Here comes Braylon Wimmer with no outs in the bottom of the 7th. Again, this is the inning, and this is the opportunity for the Braves to post a big number on a new pitcher who could spark a different story for the Braves than we saw in the 6 innings before this.
Absolutely. A nice job there by Rushing. I'll talk it over. French will here with McLaughlin, as Braylon Wimmer will step into the right-handed batter's box. As the tomahawk chop playing on the speakers here in front of the Bourne Brave faithful. Another good crowd on a beautiful night here at Doran Park. Not much wind, 75 degrees on a perfect night for baseball. Now a pitching change as Trudy out of the dugout. He will make the call to the bullpen. We'll tell you about the new Falmouth Commodore on the mound after 2 batters, and DeFabia out of the game here. 2-1 the score. The right-hander on in relief for DeFabia is Levi Wells from La Porte, Texas. 6'2", 205-pounder from Texas Tech University, making his 4th appearance on the season, has not yet allowed a run through 4 2/3. Rushing just issued the Braves' first run of the game in the bottom of the 7th inning, after he poked a single into shallow center that brought home Max Anderson after he doubled and advanced to third on a wild pitch from DeFabia. Braves looking to tie things up here in the 7th after the starter in tonight's game in McLaughlin shut them out through 6. It'll be Wimmer with Rushing aboard at first, and he's ahead 2-0 here to the first 2 pitches of this at-bat.
Bender on deck, and Braylon Wimmer checks at that one, says he didn't go. The first base umpire, Jeff Merzel, and Braylon Wimmer 0 for 2 with Colton Bender on deck, who's also 0 for 2. Again, I think new pitcher, it's a breath of fresh air. You hit the refresh button and
3-0, and how about that? A 4-pitch walk here to Braylon Wimmer, and the Braves are in some serious business, Daniel. After a leadoff double, they're just through 3 batters this inning, a single by Rushing, and now a 4-pitch walk to Wimmer. Not what you want to do if you're Falmouth out of the bullpen. It's where their pitching staff has struggled so much during the year, is out of relief, especially with the relievers coming in and giving up untimely hits. Although they had the big win yesterday at Brewster, the corners pull in here for the catcher, Colton Bender. Harvey Shapiro known to love to bunt in these situations. Braves would love to have 2 in scoring position and 1 out. We'll see what Bender does. He does square and pulls back. It's a fastball called strike that Colton Bender did not like, called by the home plate umpire Kevin Coughlin. Thought that was a little outside, but nonetheless, it's 0-1.
Armstrong at first, playing as shallow as I've seen a first baseman play all season. Looks like he was looking towards third base and Taylor to get that lead runner in Max Anderson.
0-1. Bender shows bunt. He did offer at it. Almost feeling like he might have to extend out of the zone after that first pitch was called a strike. That one, though, in the dirt. Looked like an off-speed pitch there from Wells, and all of a sudden I think they're going to turn the hit sign on, will Harvey Shapiro. With 2 down, as Bender will look to choke up and protect here with 2 strikes.
Excuse me, that is Dalton Rushing at second. On first, still Braylon Wimmer. And Colton, I understand showing bunt once, but for Colton Bender, who's a guy who's hitting around 400 for an average, I say you let him swing no outs. You got to trust your guys, I think, if you're Harvey Shapiro.
I completely agree, Daniel. 0-2. Bender, though, squares around and gets the bunt down. This one will trickle foul, and Bender will be out. So that is surprising to see. I'm shocked that they kept the bunt sign on there with 2 strikes, Daniel, especially with the catcher at the plate.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that call, especially with 2 strikes on him to bunt again. Colton Bender is statistically one of your best batters.
Yeah, he's actually now leads the team in average. He did qualify for minimum number of at-bats, so Bender leads his team in batting average coming into play today. But he will essentially be called on strikes after that bunt does not go his way. So the Braves can advance the runners. First and second, 1 out. Basically works as a strikeout, and here is Colby Thomas, who doubled, and now he shows bunt, gets it down. Third base line, he's got good speed. Taylor's throw, got him by a step. Beautiful play there by Braden Taylor, but the bunt almost comes 1 hitter too late, and now there's 2 down. That's maybe a bit of a troubled scenario here for the Braves this inning, is not exactly sure what their plan of attack is, but regardless, a base hit here would likely give the Braves the lead.
Yeah.
Daniel, what's your thoughts here?
I don't love what I just saw, to be quite honest. I mean, why are you bunting after Colton Bender's attempts didn't work, and then Colby Thomas, who, maybe if that was a little closer to the line would have been safe, but it takes the bat out of our hands and takes away the opportunity. We might now be looking at another inning where we left opportunity out there on the field. So I don't agree with that call.
1-0 to Josh Moylan looking to come through here. It's 2-0 now ahead in the count. It'll go as a sacrifice bunt there for Colby Thomas. advances the runners over. The Braves, a base hit would likely give them the lead. Rushing at third and Wimmer on at second. It's an ECU Pirate against a Texas Tech Red Raider. 2-0 to Moylan. He swings and foul tips it right on into the mitt there of Jonathan French, the Clemson catcher, in the purple and orange helmet and the gear with the chest pad and shin guards behind the plate.
Then again, if Joshua Moylan here pokes one into a gap, Harvey Shapiro's plan has worked to perfection, but there's no room for error here now.
2-1 here from Wells. And that's taken, caught outside corner, called a strike. And the count runs even here to 2-2. Deuce is wild now for the Braves. Obviously, we'll be running on the crack of contact if Moylan is able to get a piece of it. Outfield playing him straight up and in normal depth for 2 down. Wells looking to get out of it and keep Falmouth with the lead. 2-2, fastball outer half, but missed a little too far off the plate. And now, Daniel, pivotal point here in this game, a full count for Joshua Moylan with 2 runners on and 2 down.
Massive. You're not going to get an opportunity better than this. Men on second and third. This could be the tipping point in the game.
3-2 to Moylan. He breaks the bat, slow roller, over to short, and it's off the glove. Here comes Wimmer to the plate. He's going to score, and the Braves have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Wow. And that just shows you put the bat on the ball. You never know what's going to happen. Joshua Moylan, I'm not sure if they're going to count that as a hit.
I think they should.
I hope they do, because Joshua Moylan sent in 2 RBIs, and like I was saying, that just puts my take to shame. Looks like we're getting Zach Agnos at the plate for Tanner Schobel. That's the 2nd game Tanner Schobel has been pinch hit for, but take a bow, Joshua Moylan. You're out of the funk, and you scored 2 and gave us the lead. So the ECU Pirate on base at first, and his teammate now stepping into the righty batter's box. So how about that? Joshua Moylan tips the scale, and the Braves are ahead.
How about that, as it is going to be credited a single and base hit for Joshua Moylan. That is a 2-run single. How about that for Josh Moylan? No one deserves it more than him, Daniel. He's been struggling at the plate and comes through in a big way. There's no one happier than Moylan, and you know Kevin Graber, who works with him in batting practice, Harvey Shapiro, and the entire dugout. Gotta love it as Zach Agnos does pinch hit. As you mentioned, first pitch called strike. One Pirate trying to drive in another. Daniel, this is what we talked about. Maybe we put a good drinks on the Braves when we talked about their offensive woes when Nick Galley was on with us. But regardless of how it happened, these Braves bats, they were just due to come through, and they do it in a big way in the 7th.
And they most certainly do, and they're not done. Zach Agnos now faces an 0-2 count, but he was 2 for 4. Started the day off with a double to right center and then followed it up in the 4th with a triple to right center. So the Pirates are hot now for the Bourne Braves.
0-2, and Agnos chops that one off the plate, foul towards the Braves dugout, trying to stay alive as I would expect. Well, it should be interesting to see what Harvey Shapiro does defensively, as Agnos, who I don't think has had much time at the shortstop position. But regardless, we'll see what happens. First, the at-bat here. Wells delivers 0-2, and Agnos fouls that off. But if you're Levi Wells, almost, you don't feel bad for him if you're a Bourne Braves fan. But, I mean, he did his job. He got the ground ball, just broke the bat of Moylan. But luckily, here for the Bravos, a big 3-run bottom of the 7th. It was initiated by the leadoff Max Anderson double. And boy, has Anderson been a spark since he's ever come to the Braves. Agnos taken care of on strikes, but the Braves get 3 big runs here in the home 7th. After they were able to stretch and get loose a little bit, it was Dalton Rushing with the RBI single. And how about it? Big time for Josh Moylan. He needed it. A 2-run infield single. The Braves have the lead, something we love to say, as we head to the 8th from Doran Park. It'll be the right-hander and flamethrower Josh Eknes to take over here for the Braves, as they are now 6 outs away from picking up a big comeback win over division rival Falmouth. As Eknes, who Daniel was clocked in at throwing 98 on the mound in one of his appearances a few games ago, looking to potentially, if I had to guess tonight with Adler being used last night, I would say we use Eknes for 3, and then Vreeling would probably get the 9th inning tonight if the Braves are able to hold this lead. First pitch by Eknes, it's in there for strike 1, as the Braves will have to deal with the leadoff hitter and first 3 in this Falmouth order, starting with Luke Boyers. But 2 quick strikes. Good start here for Eknes. He is bringing it.
And good pace on that as well. The 2 heaters right down the pipe. And how about the 2 closest that we have on this squad, Eric Adler and Tristan Vreeling? Oh, that one misses just low, but he's still ahead. But these 2 guys can pump the heat. They make it dramatic, but they haven't given the batters anything in the 9th inning.
This one is sky to left. Easy for Colby Thomas. He drifts over and makes the catch for out number 1. Defensive change to tell you about after Agnos pinch hit for Tanner Schobel. Nick Goodwin will replace Agnos in the field over at short. And that's the defensive change after Agnos came in and struck out. So 1 down after the fly out to Colby Thomas. Good start for Agnos here in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Falmouth Commodores, team that has really slowed down in the latter half of this game. They found ways to score and strung together a couple of hits early on. And that was highlighted back in the 6th inning.
Eknes has thrown 2 innings so far on the season, a 4.50 ERA. That one misses a little low, so after firing strikes into Luke Boyers, in danger of walking Braden Taylor on 4 pitches here. Eknes against Wareham, 1 1/3 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. That's a fastball called strike out on the outer half. He gave up that home run to Samillo, which Wareham pulled within 1 run before Vreeling somehow played Houdini and closed it out of the 9th in that big win.
Yeah, and I think we might see that again from Vreeling. I don't know if it's going to be the 1 run.
That's fair. Anderson got to hurry to get Taylor, and does. A beautiful strike across the diamond. That's why they entrust Anderson with that arm over at third. Him and Agnos, 2 defensive wizards for the Braves that they're happy to have.
A beautiful strike, and as beautiful was the stretch from Joshua Moylan after sending in 2 in the last half inning. The ECU Pirate has been proving to be a huge part of this 3-2 lead. I'll tell you what, those guys at first are incredibly flexible for their size and their stature.
Yeah, they sure are. Dalton Rushing and Josh Moylan at first base, 2 big kids. Good pitch there from Eknes here to Jace Borfin. 0-2 the count. The Braves would just be 3 outs away from securing a big comeback win if Eknes is able to get Borfin, and does. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and retires Jace Borfin. A beautiful job there by Josh Eknes. As back here up in the booth, Reeves Jackson with Daniel Coates. But I want to send it down to our own Calvin Cristoforo just to talk about the attitude in that dugout once McLaughlin was pulled from the game, and what the attitude was like among the hitters as they were able to try to mount a comeback and did. And talk about the resiliency, Calvin, to come back, obviously being down 2 runs when they were struggling offensively all throughout the night.
Come on, Reeves. Of course they were excited, getting the lead in the 7th inning. Who wouldn't be? A 2-run single by Josh Moylan. I was talking about earlier how it was just a matter of time before the Braves got that one big hit that put him ahead, and it was Josh Moylan here in the 7th inning that put the Bravos up. Of course, the dugout vibe is all the way up. They're now 3 outs away from getting back to their winning ways tonight against Falmouth. So a big hit by Josh Moylan, a lot of momentum for the Braves right now, and 3 outs away from their 10th win of the season.
5-8, 6. And the winner of 50% of tonight's cash prize.
Calvin, we are just as happy as you are about that comeback. Daniel, it was all started by Max Anderson, who has been, as I talked about, a spark ever since he came to the Braves a few days ago.
Yeah, he most certainly has the Cornhusker. There's a reason why he's the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. He wallops the ball. Sometimes he hits it even in batting practice. I'm like, does it still have the stitches on it? But he has been huge. He started things off there. He's a catalyst, to say the least. And how about Josh Moylan? You know, he wasn't put in a position where there was a lot of room for error. Harvey Shapiro bunting 2 guys and 2 outs with 2 men in scoring position. Joshua Moylan comes through in the clutch and puts the Braves atop 3-2. But, hey, it wouldn't have been possible without Max Anderson from Nebraska.
You are right about that, my friend. As when we come back here, Daniel, to the top of the 9th, the Braves have their last opportunity to hit. Easy for me to say, right? The Braves will be 3 outs away from, honestly, what seemed like an improbable win considering the way that Trey McLaughlin shut down the offense all night. But all it takes is 1 inning, and the Braves really strung that together impressively. And I think this would be such an uplifting win considering how the offense has been struggling to get it going with runners on base lately. I think that 1 inning where they put it all together could really propel this team forward offensively, because we know what the pitching staff has been able to do, as we saw last inning so dominantly from Eknes. Lampy fouls that one above us. 2 balls and a strike, the count.
I think the best way to put it would be a sigh of relief in a way. You know, you come off a loss, took it to it. We didn't put up any runs, a 2-2 tie to Orleans on the road, and then here up until that bottom of the 7th, it felt like the same old story as of the last 3 days. So after Wareham, these guys have been battling back, and it's paid off here back in the bottom of the 7th.
Full count here to Joe Lampy. Fedko on deck, followed by Max Anderson. Got another chance to hit in this 8th. Lampy sprays that one out of play. Headed towards the parking lot as it bounces a little bit, rolls in that grass.
We have word that Xavier Lovett is warming up in the bullpen for the Braves down there in left field. So we've seen him more and more as of late. The Mississippi State Bulldog and national champion wasn't with the team in Omaha because of some injuries, wasn't necessarily on the travel roster, but we might see him in the 9th.
3-2 Lampy, a high chopper to short. That one settles into the glove of Colden, but he's not going to be able to get Lampy, who was way too quick regardless if that throw made it into the glove of Christopher Armstrong. Joe Lampy, that's the second time today he's been aboard with an infield single because of his speed.
How about Joe Lampy? We knew that coming into this season. He had 16 stolen bases at Santa Rosa College, transferred to the Sun Devils at Arizona State and posted 6 there. And again, that's the reason why you put him in center field, anchoring that outfield territory, and he shows that he is a speed demon, and we could see that again right here. He takes over the first base lead.
Kyler Fedko now up, and although we're so happy with those 3 runs we put up in the 7th, let's get more, Daniel. Let's add on some insurance for Xavier Lovett, who we're likely to see in the 9th. I would probably say, although Eknes, maybe send him back out there after the quick inning and have Xavier as a insurance blanket, but
we haven't seen that mentality, though, from Harvey
No,
Shapiro.
we have not. That's the thing. You're right about that.
Most of the time, you know, he'll give a starter and then a reliever.
It's a fresh inning, correct.
And he likes to have that closer solely for the 9th inning. Is that one I think got up and in, might have made contact with Fedko.
Umpire says it did not, just off the glove of French, and Lampy easily moves up to second on the wild pitch.
That was close.
It was close, I agree. It'll be a wild pitch, but yeah, I'm not saying that Harvey Shapiro wouldn't have confidence in Lovett, just the fact that Eknes was able to effectively work through that inning so quickly. But honestly, more I think about it, Daniel, let's give Xavier that opportunity to close the game out, because he has electric stuff, as we saw again a night ago against Orleans. Jeff Trudy is out of the dugout. He'll talk things over here with his righty, Levi Wells. Still talking things over on the mound. I don't think he is going to quite go to the bullpen just yet. As the home plate umpire in Kevin Coughlin will head out and try to break up the mound meeting, and does. He tells Kevin Coughlin, obviously, how many mound visits he has left in the game. They do monitor that here in the Cape League this summer. And obviously, if he comes out again, is going to have to pull. Wells can't make more than one visit in an inning. As Fedko, now with the runner on second, 1-0 count. Coming in from first is Christopher Armstrong. He'll play in on the grass and try to take care of a bunt if we see one. 1-0, and that almost did hit Fedko, if anything.
Same position there. Fedko with the chin music coming at him. But Joe Lampe is probably the most threatening guy to have on the base path at second base. You saw the speed that he showed gunning it down to first base, and pending a hit or a gapper from Kyler Fedko here, we could be seeing that again.
Two and one here to Kyler Fedko. Max Anderson on deck. The Braves, who just had 2 hits, and one was, Joe Lampe, just the speed of his legs, was able to beat out that infield grounder towards Kiriali. When you think about it, as far as true hits, it was just that Colby Thomas double. But it was an impressive outing from McLaughlin, who now will garner a no decision tonight, after he went 6 shutout innings of 2-hit baseball. Daniel, against all Braves, against the Braves offense this year, that's probably the most impressive outing we've seen of any opposing pitcher thus far.
Most certainly completely shut us down. And when we got those hits like Colby Thomas, it was a complete shutdown of rhythm. He bounced right back. McLaughlin showing why he is one of the best on this Falmouth Commodores team, and he shut down what some might say is the best offense in the Cape this summer.
Yeah, the most hits, that's for sure. Coming into play today and continuing that with 6 on the board, and in very Gordon Graceffo-esque fashion, 11 shutout innings now for McLaughlin. And Fedko bounces this to third. It won't get Lampe 90 feet over, and tossing out Fedko at first is Braden Taylor. So one down here for the guy who got it all started in the 7th. It's Max Anderson.
University of Nebraska, number 31, Max Anderson.
Yeah, Max Anderson with that double. We saw it get all the way out there to the wall by the bullpen of the Braves in left field, hoping he can do that again. And if he does that, I'm sure we'll see Joe Lampe being sent home by Harvey Shapiro. But I can't say enough about how effective and how impressive Max Anderson has been in his short time with the Braves.
First pitch is a breaking ball that misses. Up and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Levi Wells still out there on the mound here for Falmouth. That would be a devastating loss if the Commodores are unable to pull this one out after they really seem to be in control all night. As look at Max Anderson off the diving glove there of Braden Taylor. He almost shot one down the left field line, but a great job by Taylor just to get a glove on that. It ricocheted off. Lampe to third. Anderson aboard with a single. And the Braves are in business again with runners on the corners here for Dalton Rushing.
Nothing really you can do there if you're Taylor. That ball is so hardly hit down that line. He's had a couple today. He's had to field, of course, the Colby Thomas double in there. Max Anderson hits a rocket down the line. It hits the glove of Taylor, but that is such an instinctive twitch play that they're going to count that as a hit.
Rushing had the RBI single that broke the ice for the Braves and allowed them to get on the board after Anderson moved up on the wild pitch by the then pitcher Anthony DeFabia. After the check on Anderson, a first pitch fastball catches the outer half, 0-1. So obviously here Wells looking for a pitcher's best friend to get him out of this inning. But the Braves looking to add on a big-time insurance run and give either Eknes or, if Xavier Lovett comes on to close this game, a big run to work with in the top of the 9th inning that Daniel Coates will have for you. 0-1. and swing and a miss, pulled a string on an excellent changeup. One of the first ones I've seen from Wells tonight. 0-2.
Rushing has flown out twice in the game. Of course, he was just behind Max Anderson in the 7th with a flare, shallow center field that got him on. He ended up scoring. He was part of that 3-run affair back in the 7th. The Braves now lead, and he takes that one just a bit high. The Clemson Tiger gear of French behind the plate. Only one out in a 1st and 3rd scenario. We saw the Orleans Firebirds score off this type of situation. I wonder if Shapiro will send Max Anderson with a speedy Joe Lampe. I think if French were to gun it down, Joe Lampe could be crawling down the third base line.
Good call. I think maybe they would have done it if there weren't 2 strikes. Rushing lifts this one into left. It'll be deep enough for Joe Lampe to come in and score. Hall makes the catch. Lampe could walk home if he wanted to with his speed. He's easily up. And Dalton Rushing. He started the scoring off, and it might be bookend RBIs for Rushing, who might have driven in the Braves' final run of this game. They lead 4-2. A big sac fly, 2 down.
That was a perfect piece of situational hitting. Just got all of it, got under it, sent it over to Hall, and Joe Lampe knew the second that was hit that he was scoring, tagging from third. Again, like I said, he could have crawled there, Army crawl, hop, skip, and a jump there from third to home.
There's Wimmer, and chops this one foul. But, Daniel, I think the story of this Braves team when they've been down in games is the resiliency of the offense, just like Calvin talked about, obviously, when we sent it down to him to begin this inning, between innings. But just crazy to think, obviously, the Braylon Wimmer, the man at the plate right now, had that big base hit against Chatham to secure the tie. Colton Bender had the clutch home run against Harwich. And tonight, not only able to battle back to tie the game, but to take the lead. And I think even shows more growth in this offense and what they were able to do down 2 tonight.
Yeah, and you can tell it wasn't necessarily the same output that we've been giving maybe through the first 8 games, but the fact that we were able to grind away and get a two-run lead going into the 9th is just really impressive stuff, and shows that even when we don't have it, we do have it.
Yeah.
Because we know how
they can strike at any moment.
We know who to depend on. We can strike at any moment, and we have certain ways of getting on base. You know, Joe Lampe he didn't even put it into the outfield today. He had 2 infield singles that he beat out, and he gave us an opportunity to put runs on the board. So just impressive stuff overall. Still looking for early production, but we'll take it wherever we can get it.
Well, the old saying, speed kills. It did that inning. Lampe beats out an infield ground ball, got over to third, and ends up coming home on a sac fly by Dalton Rushing. Braves pick up another, as they have now scored in back-to-back innings. It is Xavier Lovett. He is on for the save in a 2-run game. Daniel Coates will have you all about it when we come back to Doran Park. It's a 4-2 Braves lead.
Welcome back, folks. We are here in the 9th inning where the Braves have a 2-run lead. It wasn't pretty, but the lead is pretty. 2-run lead, 4-2. Xavier Lovett is on the mound now. He is the national champion from Mississippi State. We saw him last night in Orleans, and he's going to try and close this game out against our Western Division counterpart, the Falmouth Commodores, who took an early 2-0 lead.
Yeah, nice to see, obviously, Xavier Lovett garnering a bigger role with this team. We loved what we saw from his big arm. Obviously not the biggest stature on the mound, but Man, can he pump a fastball. 94 to 95, we saw him reach on that fastball last night. And he was obviously quite comfortable, as he has been all year. Xavier Levitt has not allowed a run all season. He's been excellent out of relief in 3 games, 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk and 1 hit. So he's throwing strikes. That's all you can ask him to do for the big right-hander.
Yeah, we thought we might see Tristan Vreeling, maybe Eric Adler in his 7th game, but Xavier Levitt was completely shut down back in the 8th inning in that tie yesterday, 2-2 to Orleans. And to start things off now, the Falmouth Commodores with one last chance. Xavier Levitt digs in. This is Michael Curiali as the leadoff hitter. And he is trying to propel his team to get some runs on the board here. We are back at Bourne Park in the top of the 9th. The Braves lead 4-2. Curiali, the right-handed batter, 0 for 2 on the day. Weak nub towards Braylon Wimmer. He scoops it up and gets the out at first.
Well, defensive change for Harvey Shapiro. Just notice that Nick Goodwin going to second. Look who's in the game at short. It's Christian Knapjack.
Wow. Look at that. We got a couple of changes that we didn't notice. So thank you for that, Reeves. But nonetheless, the same result that we got from Braylon Wimmer all day at second base. A handful of ground balls to the right-hand side of the infield. Out number 1 there, Xavier Levitt. What a breaking ball there. And Reeves, as a former pitcher, that is a nasty, nasty pitch, especially to be faced with a 2-run deficit in the 9th inning.
I'll tell you what, Daniel, if I had a breaking ball like that, I think maybe I could have gone and pitched at college. Just kidding. My fastball velocity was not even close to anything that could touch that. But that's a disgusting breaking ball from Xavier Levitt.
Don't sell yourself short. Come on.
Daniel, you're the most positive person I know.
1-1, 1 out. Thank you, Reeves. 4-2. The Braves are on top and are on a course to go to their 10th win of the season. Broken bat right down the first base line, picked up. And I believe that's Dalton rushing at first for out number 2, but that was quite a break on that bat from Christopher Armstrong. And 2 outs here at Bourne Park. The Braves battled back and now hold a 2-run lead. Xavier Levitt, the Mississippi State Bulldog, goes right back into the stretch and will face designated hitter from Oregon State, Jake Ducart. Fastball high and outside, catching the corner, strike 1. Have to imagine that is being clocked in the mid to low 90s.
Yeah, without a doubt. Definitely probably 93, 94 if I had to guess.
The 0-1. A breaking ball there makes it 0-2. How about that from Xavier Levitt?
If he's able to get him here for the 3rd out, this has to be the most satisfying win of the season yet for the Braves. What a comeback. Xavier Levitt looking to close this door and knock it down for a big 10th win.
Jake Ducart, 0-2. Levitt from the stretch. Fastball misses outside. The light shining on Bourne Park, and the fans still here supporting 4 unanswered runs from the Bourne Braves. Xavier Levitt from the stretch to Ducart. Fouled off behind him. 1-2 is the count with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Ducart on the day. Struck out in the 2nd, flew out to center.
You know what I was thinking, going fastball here? I think Xavier should go back to that breaking ball. I think he'll get Ducart. I think he's going to go fastball, but breaking ball would definitely throw him off and probably get him.
The 1-2. Line drive right to Christian Knapjack, who we're seeing in the field for the first time. Xavier Levitt propels the Bourne Braves to 10 wins, the first team in the Cape Cod League to hit that 10-win mark, and the Braves battle back and beat the Falmouth Commodores 4-2 in a Western Division showdown that was anything but easy, but hey, the Braves got it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't say enough good things about this win, and I just said a minute ago, this probably feels like one of the best wins we've had all season because of how unexpected it was as far as when the offense was able to produce so late in the game, Daniel. The pitching staff, when Nick came on, we talked about it. 2 runs. When you only allow 2 runs, it should be enough to win the game. And for, a third consecutive day, the pitching staff has pitched to the tune of only allowing 2 runs in each of the past 3 games. Obviously, it got better each night. You had the loss versus Katuitt, the first loss. You tied versus Orleans, and the offense finally comes through in a big way late in the game, and you pick up the win.
And I'm sure, Reeves, that before the 7th inning tonight, people like us at other teams are looking at the scoreboard across the Cape Cod League, and we're grinning at the fact that we were down 2-0 to a Western Division team. We get it done. 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, 1 run in the bottom of the 8th. And how about the Braves? They didn't necessarily have it the entire game, but they showed up when they had to. And I told you that back in the bottom of the 7th, that was the opportunity to put up a 3 spot, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, I have one thing to say to all those people looking at the scoreboard thinking we were going to lose. Not so fast. Don't sleep on these Bravos out here, baby.
Do not sleep on the Braves. It wasn't necessarily a stellar performance across the board, but the pitching continues to keep us afloat. The bats picked up when they needed to. And how about the pitching staff? There's not really much to say. Xavier Lovett closes this out. But really, really good stuff from the bullpen and the starting pitcher tonight.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're losing pitchers. We talked about Van Loon, Graceffo, Zawak. But that just opens the door for a guy like Xavier Lovett, who didn't appear into a game. I think it was technically the second to last appearance, although one of the pitchers in Jordan Patty appeared after him solely because of the fact that one of the games he appeared in was canceled at Katuitt. But when you think about it, as far as games that actually people played in, even if it didn't count, Lovett was the last guy on the roster to begin the season, and he's arguably been maybe the best reliever outside of Eric Adler. Him and Shadoba. So many good relievers. I don't really know who to pinpoint.
And Tristan Vreeling. Don't forget about the Gonzaga Bulldog.
And oh my gosh, and Parsley. It's everybody, and I think that's the hardest thing.
We thought we were going to see Austin Parsley today, but he's leading the team in strikeouts. So I'm sure we will see him after the break and maybe after the weather delay that we're going to get through the beginning parts of this weekend. But, hey, we are in a good position with the bullpen.
I think the turning point in this game, to me, it wasn't the inning offensively for the Braves. It was when Ben Etheridge, Southern Miss kid, came into the game with runners on the corners.
Yes.
Got a double play ball, and they got a ground out. You face 2 batters, you get 3 outs, and only allow 1 run to score, in which Falmouth was really threatening offensively, especially once Jordan Patty was pulled from that game. Ben Etheridge, a very low-key, underrated player in this game. And then you turn things over to the 7th, and Max Anderson continues his hot hitting for the Braves. He doubles, moves over to third on that wild pitch. Dalton Rushing is able to bring him home with the RBI single. And the speed of Joe Lampe, obviously, the Braves didn't need that extra insurance run when it comes down to the end of the game. Lovett was able to shut the door, but it
confidence-wise and just being able to put different guys into the infield. Harvey Shapiro put Napchik back at short, Nick Goodwin at second, taking over really good defensive stands from Tanner Schobel and Braylon Wimmer. Looking down, I know we talked a bit about the pitching, but let's transition to the bats. Looking down at this lineup, who's your player of the game? I know it could be coming from the pitching mound, but hey, there was a lot of good stuff at the plate when it was needed, and I think the first thing that I think of is Joshua Moylan's hit down towards the third baseman, Taylor, that scored 2 and really sent this game into overdrive for the Braves.
Yeah, it's got to be Josh Moylan for me, because not only did he do that, but he did it with 2 outs. And I think that's the thing that we've been stressing so much. We know the struggles the Braves had. Obviously, they worked on some of those flaws tonight late in the game as we were kind of building that storyline throughout, obviously, as it has picked up a storyline for the Braves lately. But they're able to fix those woes. And as many runners as they've left on with less than 2 outs, they've also had plenty of opportunities to score with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. And Josh Moylan, any way he can get it done, and he got it done, a broken bat, slow chopper over to short. And obviously Colden was unable to field it, but it would have definitely brought home a run regardless. Moylan would have been safe at first. Wimmer, who was right on the coattails, obviously, of Dalton Rushing, and was able to follow him home to the plate. Josh Moylan's got to be your player of the game. I'm so happy for the dude. He's so nice, and no one deserves it more after a slower start to the year than the big Pirate.
And also good work from him at first base defensively. Like you said, the Braves battled, and they battled back from a 2-run deficit and are taking away their 10th win of the season, 4-2. Xavier Lovett comes in and shuts things down for the Falmouth Commodores as we sink them again and go to 3-0 against our Western Division counterpart. For Reeves Jackson and this entire broadcast team, my name is Daniel Coates. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be back hopefully in a few days. Not necessarily sure how this storm is going to pan out, but stick with us and stick with our social media team. Thank you very much, and as always, go Braves.